Chapter 56-52. Young man, go back. Although you're powerful and the quasi-emperors are no match for you, you can't swallow so many of our families at once. Go back and ask someone more powerful to negotiate with us. Patriarch of Empyrean Glory said in a deep voice. Quasi-Emperor Mandela also said, go, or don't blame us for attacking. You think you can do that? Tianji's face darkened. How dare you threaten me? You all deserve to die. As soon as he finished speaking, lightning flashed under his feet and he disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Quasi-Emperor Mandela. He used his fingers like a sword and slashed down. Quasi-Emperor Mandela saw how terrifying this sword was and did not dare to be careless. In the forest of life, he roared angrily, unleashing an endless forest that blotted out the sky and covered the earth in front of him. It seemed to have turned into a world. At the same time, the quasi-emperors around him were also angry. How dare you attack? Since you want to suppress him, let's teach him a lesson. Quasi-Emperor of Empyrean Glory threw a punch with terrifying power. Quasi-Emperor of Frenzied Blade slashed with his blade, and the other quasi-emperors also performed immortal techniques. Boom, boom, boom. The place where Tianji was instantly shattered and turned into a terrifying black hole that swallowed the sky and earth. The quasi-emperors' faces turned cold. You asked for it, don't blame us. We'll show you how powerful we are. Is this guy dead? Some quasi-emperors frowned. If we kill him, we'll be in big trouble. Mandela said, no, everyone is controlling their power. He won't die. But he will definitely be injured. Suppress him and send him away. As soon as she finished speaking, the black hole in front of them slowly disappeared and a figure walked out. Tianji smiled and the silver armor on his body released electric arcs. He came out unscathed. How is that possible? The quasi-emperors around him were stunned. You're not injured? That's impossible. Although they controlled their power and did not kill him, they would definitely injure him. But now, he was unscathed. What's going on? Did he block it? It's unbelievable. Tianji sneered. Stupid things. You know nothing about the power in the depths of the deity ground. Let me tell you what a real immortal technique is. Heaven's fate waved his hand, and endless lightning condensed in his palm. Immortal technique, heavenly thunderbreak. Xiaochen shouted, and the heavenly lightning in his hand flew out. It turned into a bolt of lightning and struck the 8 quasi-emperors. Then, the thunderbolt suddenly split open. The terrifying and destructive power caused the 8 quasi-emperors to suffer an intense impact. Not good, quickly defend. The 8 boundary emperors tried to fight back, but they were still sent flying in an instant, coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. Their bodies were penetrated by the lightning. Damn it! How could this be? How could he be so strong? Quasi-Emperor Mandala's face was filled with despair. Quasi-Emperor Flying Fish even had the heart to die. Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade was also horrified. The 8 of them were prepared to attack together, but they couldn't do anything to the other party. Instead, they were injured by the other party with a single move. How many crowns was this? 6 Crown King? Or was it 7 Crown Champion? They didn't dare to think any further. Even a young man from the depths of the deity ground had such strength. How terrifying were those old monsters? No wonder the other party called them ants. In front of such absolute power, they were indeed ants. Heaven's fate retracted his palm, terrifying lightning flashing in his eyes. He snorted coldly. Originally, I didn't want to attack and wanted to have a good talk with you. In the end, you didn't know what was good for you and forced me to attack. Now, you've tasted the pain. This is just the beginning. If you dare to resist again, I'll destroy your astral soul. There was a biting, cold, killing intent in his voice that made one's soul tremble. Remember, in a month, I'll collect half of the resources from your clans. If anyone doesn't complete the task, don't blame me for destroying them, including their clans. You, too arrogant. Although you defeated us, do you want to fight against our clans? Quasi-Emperor Batian roared. Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade was also unconvinced. I'll give you one last warning. Heaven's Fate's face also darkened. He said, do you think the Heavenly Thunder Tribe wants your resources? How ridiculous. This time, I'm here on the orders of the Heavenly King. If you resist me, you'll be going against the Heavenly King. What's the result? Think about it yourselves. Remember, you only have a month. Heaven's fate turned around and said to the old servant behind him, "Stay here and keep an eye on them. Inform me in a month." Yes, the old servant bowed deeply. Heaven's fate turned into a streak of flowing light and disappeared. On the other hand, the quasi-emperors lying on the ground were shocked. What? He was here on the orders of the Heavenly King? They might not have heard of the Heavenly Thunder Tribe, but the name of the Heavenly King was well known. This was because the Heavenly King was the supreme overlord of the deity ground. Even in the depths of the deity ground, it was extremely terrifying. No one dared to challenge the Heavenly King. The Heavenly King was high and mighty. Whoever dared to challenge it would end up in a fate worse than death. This was the consensus of everyone in the deity ground. However, the Heavenly King did not appear now because of the Book of Heavenly Tao in the sky. Could it be that the Heavenly King was about to break the seal? No, it should not have broken the seal. Another quasi-emperor laughed bitterly. The clans of the great emperors in the outer universe worked together to create the Book of Heavenly Tao to seal the Heavenly King. If the Heavenly King wants to break the seal and come out quickly, it needs external forces. Therefore, he set his sights on us. You're saying that this is a battle between the Heavenly King and the outer universe, but we're involved? Damn it. Why are we so unlucky? Some people roared. Aren't the people in the outer universe ants? How dare they fight against others? No, don't underestimate the outer universe. There were many great emperors in the outer universe. They were definitely qualified to challenge the Heavenly King. But now, let's think about our own problems. Are we really going to give him half of the resources? What can we do if we don't? These people were unwilling, but they were afraid of the Heavenly King's anger. At this moment, Kaiser Blood got up. He seemed to have thought of something. Lin Gongzi. Let's look for Lin Gongzi. He might be able to protect us. Yes, Lin Gongzi might have a way. Quasi-Emperor Mandala's eyes lit up. The other quasi-emperors were the same. Let's go. Lin Gongzi should be participating in the exchange on the 3rd level. Let's go look for him. These quasi-emperors quickly rushed out of the manor. In the void, the old servant of the Heavenly Thunder Tribe sneered. He looked up and stared at the departing quasi-emperors. He did not stop them. No matter who they were, they would not be able to fight against them. So, these quasi-emperors' efforts were futile. This guy is following us. When the quasi-emperors sensed this aura, they frowned. They realized that the old servant had been following them like a shadow. Ignore him. Let's hurry to the 3rd level. These quasi-emperors rushed to the 3rd level. On the 3rd level, the exchange for the younger generation was still in progress. Suddenly, the array formation was torn open. Someone rushed in. Who is it? They shouted angrily. Princess Juman frowned. But when they saw who it was, they were stunned. Chapter 56-53. The young geniuses on the 3rd level were all stunned by the group of people who came in. They found that it was a group of quasi-emperors who had blood on them and their auras were unstable. Are they all injured? Heavens, who could injure these quasi-emperors? What happened? Fei Jiuxiao, Kuang Yiming, and the others also exclaimed. Grandpa, what happened to you? Ancestor! The other people also cried out in alarm. They all rushed over, their faces full of worry. The quasi-emperors shouted angrily and made way. The geniuses were shocked and several quasi-emperors searched in the air. What are these people looking for? The geniuses below were all stunned. Suddenly, Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade's eyes lit up and he rushed toward Lin Xian. The blood race and the others also quickly followed. They were here for that kid. They all looked at Lin Xian. Kuang Yiming was overjoyed. Great. Is my grandpa going to attack this kid? It would be best to kill him with one slap to relieve the hatred in my heart. However, he was scared out of his wits in the next moment, and he almost knelt on the ground. His grandpa, Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade, came in front of Lin Xian and bowed deeply. Lin Gongzi, please save us. Kuang Yiming was thunderstruck. Wow, what's going on? My grandpa, a quasi-emperor and the ancestor of the Frenzied Blade family, is bowing to a young man? Is this a joke? The people around were also stunned. What's wrong with Frenzied Blade? Is he hallucinating because he was injured? However, they found that it was not over. After Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade, Patriarch of Empyrean Glory, Kaiser Blood, and Quasi-Emperor Mandala all bowed. Lin Gongzi, please save us. Countless people were in an uproar. Zhulong, Fei Jiuxiao, and the others narrowed their eyes. Kuan Yu was even more shocked. She had a bad feeling in her heart, because he had seen such a scene before. Back when they were in the outer universe, the patriarchs and grand elders of the imperial clans had all bowed to Lin Xian with great respect. He thought that the situation would change after he came to the deity ground. He did not expect that the quasi-emperors in the deity ground would also bow to Lin Xian. Is Lin Wudi's glory in the deity ground? Kuan almost cried when he thought of how many great emperor clans and remote antiquity clans were humiliated by Lin Xian alone. Is this young man? Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu, Quasi-Emperor Zhu Hai, and the others also frowned. They had heard from Kaiser Blood and the others that there was hope, so they followed along. But they did not expect this young man was a young man. Another young man. Did this young man also come from the depths of the deity ground? Grandpa, what's going on? Fei Jiuxiao walked out and said quickly, why are they so in this way? Hearing this, Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu frowned. You know him? Fei Jiuxiao nodded. Come here. He pulled Kuan Yu to his side. He said, Grandpa, this is a new friend I made. He's from a great emperor's clan in the outer universe. He knew this brat. He said that this brat was someone from the small universe outside. People like that are trash. Why should we revere them? People from the outside universe? Not from the deity ground? Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu frowned. The Rakshasa Quasi-Emperor and the others looked gloomy. Kaiser Blood and the others were bowing to an ant from the outside universe. What kind of joke was this? However, Kaiser Blood and the others were so respectful. They knew that Lin Xian was from the outside universe, but so what? They had seen Lin Xian's strength. He was far more powerful than them. If there was anyone who could compete with the celestial pole, it could only be Lin Xian. Therefore, they lowered their heads even more. Please save us, young master. Lin Xian raised his head to look at these quasi-emperors and frowned deeply. He had noticed the quasi-emperors from the moment they came in. These quasi-emperors were all injured, and their injuries were very serious. Their bodies were pierced by lightning, and a violent and destructive aura was still spreading. Who injured you? The Blood Clan member hurriedly told him what had happened. Please save us, young master. We will be grateful. The others also exclaimed. What? A young man defeated 8 quasi-emperors? And he did it so easily. Are we dreaming? Are the people from the deity ground so terrifying? Is our family doomed? These people were in despair. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. He had heard the quasi-emperors mention the people from the deity ground. He had thought that after the exchange, he would look for the quasi-emperors and see if there was any news. However, the situation was completely out of his expectation. The people from the deity ground were here to collect resources under the orders of the Otherworld Heavenly King. What was their purpose? Lin Xian knew that the Otherworld Heavenly King was trying to break the seal and come out in advance. Lin Xian would never allow it. He did not expect to meet the people from the Otherworld Heavenly King so soon. Lin Xian's face turned cold. He said, Don't worry. I will protect your family. Thank you, Lin Gongzi, the Blood Race, and the other quasi-emperors. They were as happy as children. Around them, Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu and the Rakshasa Quasi-Emperor frowned. Are you really going to listen to this kid? After all, if he can't withstand it, then what awaits the 6 great clans is annihilation. Are you willing to bet the fate of your family? Bloodsea said, Brother Fei Yu, you'd better hurry up and pay a visit to Lin Gongzi. Quasi-Emperor Mandala also said, Yes, hurry up and beg Lin Gongzi. Lin Gongzi will help you. Beg him? The Rakshasa Quasi-Emperor also frowned. I think you are scared out of your wits. Don't think that just because the celestial pole is powerful, the other young people are powerful. In my eyes, he is just an ordinary quadruple crown winner. Quasi-Emperor Mandala and the others shook their heads. If they did not believe it, so be it. They did not say anything. If they angered Lin Xian, they would be in trouble too. Lin Xian glanced at these quasi-emperors. "Oh, are you challenging me?" The Rakshasa quasi-emperor said coldly. "Kid, don't play tricks. Do you think you can trick us just because you can trick them? You can't. Hurry up and leave. Otherwise, if he continues to play tricks on us, we will destroy your soul." Lin Xian smiled. "Originally, I wanted to give you a chance and protect you. However, you are too reckless. Since this is the case, when the time comes, you want me to help you and beg me to protect you. I will make you kneel and beg me, and hand over 1/3 of your family's resources. Kneel and beg you? Ha 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 ha." Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu snorted. "This kid must be crazy. I will deal with him first." Fei Jiuxiao was also excited. "Kid, you dare to offend my grandfather? You can wait for your death." Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu wanted to attack, but Kaiser Blood walked out. "You dare to be rude to Lin Gongzi? Don't blame me for not being polite. You want to help him?" Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu frowned. The Rakshasa Quasi-Emperor and the others also had cold expressions. What is so good about this kid? The 6 Quasi-Emperors are actually so protective of him. At this moment, another old man flew over from afar. "6 great families, you are reckless. Are you challenging the celestial pole, young master?" Chapter 56-54. Who is this person? Looking at the old man who just came out, the surrounding people were puzzled. Does this old man dare to challenge those quasi-emperors? The surrounding quasi-emperors also frowned deeply. This old man was really like a lingering spirit that refused to leave. Patriarch of Empyrean Glory walked out and snorted. "Young Master Tianji, we can't beat you, but you're just a servant. How dare you be so arrogant in front of us?" "So you're just a servant. How dare a servant be so arrogant?" The surrounding people also sneered. Young Master of Divine Force also snorted. "Just wait and see. My grandfather will definitely teach him a lesson." The old servant in front of him looked cold. "How dare you challenge our heavenly Thunder Clan? You don't deserve to live." His voice turned into a murderous force that rushed forward. In the next moment, endless storms and thunderbolts gathered under the old servant's feet, and he moved at extreme speed. In a flash, he charged toward Quasi-Emperor of Empyrean Glory. Quasi-Emperor of Empyrean Glory snorted. "You're courting death." He couldn't defeat young Master Tianji, but he could defeat this old man. Therefore, he didn't hold back and punched out. The great desolation power in his body was like an ancient mountain. It was really too powerful. The surrounding people were so scared that they almost knelt on the ground. No wonder he's Patriarch of Empyrean Glory. With a loud boom, the area in front of him was completely obliterated. Countless large cracks spread in all directions. When Kuan Yu saw this, her beautiful eyes widened. This is the deity ground. How terrifying is it to create cracks here? One could imagine how terrifying Quasi-Emperor of Empyrean Glory was. That old servant should be dead. He still dares to follow us. He's really courting death. The surrounding people sneered. The black hole in the sky slowly disappeared. However, at this moment, a figure appeared in the void. It was an old man, floating in the air. His face was cold and his eyes were full of disdain. How is this possible? He's still alive. The surrounding people's pupils shrank when they saw this. Even their souls trembled. He's still alive after being hit by such a terrifying punch. Who exactly is this old man? Patriarch of Empyrean Glory's pupils also shrank. Impossible. He roared at the sky. He was well aware of how powerful he was. Damn it, I don't believe it. He punched out again. You chosen immortal clans are pitifully weak. Let me show you what a true immortal technique is. The old servant raised his hand. Terrifying lightning flickered between his 5 fingers. Immortal technique, rushing thunder palm. He struck out with his palm. Between heaven and earth, the vast lightning formed the palm of a god and pressed down. Everyone who felt this power was in disbelief. Was this really just a servant? The power he unleashed? Why did it feel even more terrifying than a quasi-emperor? The patriarch of Empyrean glory bellowed at the sky. He was sent flying in an instant as he fought against Yifutyin. No, Grandpa, Prince Herculean strength exclaimed. The others were also stunned. Had the quasi-emperor been defeated? They saw quasi-emperor Batian fall to the ground, his body charred black. His body was penetrated, and his internal organs were all shattered. That one punch was terrifying. The old servant sneered. Although I am young Master Tianji's servant, I am not someone you can compare to. Today, since you dared to go against young Master Tianji, there's no need for you to live. Extremely frightening lightning flashed in his eyes. In the next moment, he formed a lightning claw, which seemed to have crossed the ancient time and space, and fiercely slapped forward. Oh no! The surrounding people cried out in alarm. The patriarch of Empyrean glory's expression also changed. He could not block this attack at all. Was he going to die? There was a boom. The lightning palm covered the sky and enveloped the patriarch of Empyrean glory. Prince Herculean strength wanted to go forward, but he was sent flying by the remaining power of the energy. The other quasi-emperors were also horrified. It was not that they did not want to help, but the power of the lightning was too fast. It was so fast that they could not react. Was the patriarch of Empyrean glory going to be killed? An ant that could not withstand a single blow. The old servant sneered. In the next moment, he looked at the other quasi-emperors. Who else wanted to die? Step forward. For a moment, the scene was terrifyingly quiet. No one dared to resist. Their eyes were filled with despair. However, at this moment, a cough was heard. At the same time, someone exclaimed, "I'm not dead." Prince Herculean strength turned his head at the sound. "Grandpa!" He cried out in alarm. The other quasi-emperors also turned their heads to look. They were stunned. Quasi-emperor of Empyrean glory is not dead? That's great. The old servant furrowed his brows tightly. It's impossible. Given his strength, how could he have dodged my attack? In the next moment, he saw that in addition to quasi-emperor of Empyrean glory, there was a young man beside him. He had a handsome face and his hands were behind his back. Who was this guy? The patriarch of Empyrean glory kept thanking Lin Gongzi for saving his life. It turned out that when he was about to die, a ray of light flashed by and saved him at an extremely fast speed. It was Lin Xian who had saved him. It turned out that Lin Gongzi had saved him. Quasi-Emperor Mandela and the others were also delighted. The old servant frowned. Young man, who are you? Do you dare to fight against the Heavenly Thunder Tribe? Get out of here and I'll spare your life. Heavenly Thunder Tribe? I've never heard of it. Lin Xian shook his head. Stupid thing. We come from the depths of the deity ground. This time, my young master came here on the orders of Bayan. Do you dare to fight against Bayan? His words made the scalps of the surrounding people tingle. This person came from the depths of the deity ground. No wonder he was so powerful and could injure a quasi-emperor with one palm. The depths of the deity ground were forbidden to them. What do you think? Are you afraid now? The old servant laughed complacently when he saw the frightened expressions of the people around him. Lin Xian's face darkened. I came here on the orders of Bayan. In that case, you can die. His eyes were filled with a piercing killing intent. Lin Xian would not show any mercy since this person was related to Bayan. What? You want to kill me? You're just a quadruple crown champion? The old servant was even more disdainful. Even a quasi-emperor was no match for him, let alone a quadruple crown champion. This young man must be out of his mind. The others were also puzzled, such as the young princes, Fei Jiuxiao, Huang Yiming, and the others. They did not know why the quasi-emperor was so respectful to Lin Xian. However, it was absolutely impossible for Lin Xian to fight against the old servant with his strength. Zhu Chu also shook her head. What an arrogant kid. Although her status was the noblest, compared to this old servant, she was still thousands of miles away. The old servant in front was also angry. Kid, you may be a little ant, but since you dare to block my way, I can only trample you to death. He raised his palm again. Immortal technique, Thunder Palm. He blasted it forward. It carried a terrifying power. This immortal technique was even more powerful and terrifying than the immortal technique of the chosen immortal clan. Chapter 56-55. A terrifying destructive force swept out in all directions. The people around retreated in horror. Some sighed. The young man was dead. Some sneered. He deserved it. Who asked him to be so arrogant? How dare he fight against the people in the depths of the deity ground? Die, you ant. The old servant smiled disdainfully. He did not take the young man seriously at all. A terrifying light burst out from Lin Xian's eyes. The immortal qi seed appeared in his left eye. In the next moment, he raised his hand and slashed forward with his fingers like a sword. The true water sword technique turned into a water dragon. This sword technique used softness to overcome hardness. The power of water neutralized the power of lightning. Furthermore, the water dragon split into 8 phantoms. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged toward Chu Feng in an instant. All the lightning in the sky was extinguished. A rumbling sound was heard, enveloping the entire world. Everyone was so dazzled that they could not open their eyes. That brat should have been killed by this palm. He definitely would not survive. However, when they opened their eyes, they saw Lin Xian standing there unscathed. How was that possible? The young prodigies were all dumbfounded. Fei Jiuxiao, Zhouman, and the others looked as if they had seen a ghost. You're not dead? The old servant also frowned deeply. How was that possible? That was only a quadruple crown champion. How could he block his attack? Interesting. No wonder you dare to challenge me. Although I don't know what trump cards you have, you've successfully angered me. Next, I'll send you on your way. Immortal technique, primordial thunder immortal's claw. The old servant formed a seal with his palms, and the lightning claw appeared behind him again. It traveled across time and space and slapped forward again. Lin Xian also shouted coldly. Immortal technique, unparalleled blazing sun. This time, boundless flames formed on his body. At the same time, a blazing sun appeared in the sky. It turned into a sun palace and descended from the sky. It was like an immortal palace that broke through the clouds and the 9 heavens. It pressed down fiercely. Damn it! What's that? When the old servant felt this power, he was so frightened that he roared in fear. Block it! He used the primordial thunder immortal's claw to block it. However, in an instant, the immemorial claw shattered. The speed at which the flame immortal palace descended was simply too terrifying, completely enveloping it. Boom boom! A terrifying voice rang out, causing everyone's scalp to go numb and their hearts to tremble. Was this an immortal spell? Why was it so terrifying? Was this kid a quasi-emperor? None of them knew. Kaiser Blood, Quasi-Emperor Mandela, and the others held their breaths and looked ahead carefully. They were looking forward to it, wondering if Lin Xian would be able to defeat his opponent. The clouds in front scattered, and a miserable cry sounded. The flame-like immortal palace suppressed the old servant. The old servant was in an incomparably miserable state. His hair was disheveled, and his body was covered in cracks. Blood splattered all over the 9 heavens. He screamed crazily. The surrounding people gasped in astonishment. Suppressed. He had actually suppressed his opponent with a single move. This was impossible. Zhouman and the others were going crazy. This old servant had previously defeated Quasi-Emperor Batian with a single palm. How terrifying was that? The other party was an extremely terrifying existence among the Quasi-Emperors. However, such an existence was easily suppressed by Lin Xian. What level had Lin Xian reached? 6 Crown King? They could not believe it. His aura was clearly that of a quadruple crown king. Had he really succeeded? The Blood Ancestor and the others also gasped in shock. Although they had guessed it, they were still extremely shocked when they saw it with their own eyes. This young man was so terrifying that they saw hope. Damn it! Who are you? Who exactly are you? The old servant roared crazily. He had actually been suppressed? He could not believe that there was such a terrifying figure at the edge of the deity ground. You talk too much nonsense. I'll ask and you'll answer. Maybe you can live. Lin Xian walked over and stared at the old servant. What was the relationship between the Heavenly Thunder Tribe and the Heavenly Thunder Tribe? What was the Heavenly Thunder Tribe's plan? Lin Xian was more worried that the Heavenly Thunder Tribe would break the seal, so he had to get to the bottom of this. Stupid thing, Don't even think about knowing these things. You're dead. 1 month later, young Master Tianji will descend, and he will make you wish you were dead. The old servant seemed to have gone crazy. Lin Xian snorted and activated his reincarnation eye to search the old servant's soul. He began to search the old servant's soul. The old servant's eyes rolled back, and he looked extremely miserable. Everyone was shocked. The other party was searching the soul of a quasi-emperor. How terrifying was the other party's soul? At this moment, Lin Xian was like a supreme god. The illusion of the six paths world appeared around him. The light from the corner of his eye made the scalps of the people around him tingle. Suddenly, Lin Xian's face darkened. He slapped the old servant and turned him into a bloody mist. His soul was destroyed. He was dead. Quasi-Emperor Batian was stunned. Mandela and the others were also stunned. To be honest, they did not expect Lin Xian to kill the old servant. Kaiser Blood rushed over and said, "Young master, you killed him?" Lin Xian withdrew his immortal technique, unparalleled blazing Sunday. Then, he said, "What's the use of keeping it?" He was from the Heavenly Thunder Tribe and represented the Heavenly Thunder Tribe. So what? Lin Xian sneered. He looked at the quasi-emperors and shook his head. You don't think that you can reconcile with him, do you? He was just an ant. So what if I killed him? Why? Do you want to blame me? Lin Xian's face darkened. The quasi-emperors around him felt their scalps tingle. They shook their heads frantically. No, they did not dare. Lin Xian was too terrifying. They even thought that Lin Xian could compete with the Heavenly Thunder Tribe's young master. How would they dare to go against such a person? However, they felt bitter in their hearts. They had offended the Heavenly Thunder Tribe. They were afraid that their families would suffer. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry. I will help you get rid of the Heavenly Thunder Tribe's young master." Really? The ancestral patriarchs around him suddenly raised their heads. Their eyes lit up. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. You are from the depths of the deity ground. Let me see how strong you are. The crisis was temporarily stopped just like that. The old servant's body was turned into a bloody mist. Lin Xian kept his storage ring. Young master, please take a seat. A group of quasi-emperors respectfully invited Lin Xian to the center of the lake. Lin Xian sat on the spirit boat, and the quasi-emperors stood beside him. The other people in the villa were still dumbfounded at this moment. The scene just now was like a dream to them. Kuang Yiming, Fei Jiuxiao, and the others were even more shocked. A group of ancestral patriarchs and giants had become Lin Xian's followers? Jiuman's body trembled. He was originally the focus of everyone's attention, but now he was overshadowed. All eyes were on Lin Xian. Lin Xian sat there casually and asked indifferently, Kuang Yiming, where is young Master Kuang? Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade frowned. What did his grandson do? In the crowd, Kuang Yiming was trembling in fear. He ran directly to the lake and knelt down with a plop. Lin Gongzi, spare my life. He was so frightened that he could not speak clearly. Did he dare to challenge such a person before? He even wanted to teach him a lesson? Now, he felt that he was too reckless. Chapter 56-56. Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade was enraged. Did his grandson offend Lin Gongzi? He took a step forward. You don't know the difference between life and death. Do you want to die? How dare you offend Lin Gongzi? Kuang Yiming was scared out of his wits and could only keep kowtowing. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he saw this scene. He took out a cup of spirit wine from his storage ring and gently swirled it before he said, Don't worry. Since you didn't know my identity, I'll spare your life on account of your grandfather. Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade was overjoyed and thanked Lin Gongzi. He was extremely grateful. Indeed, even if Lin Xian killed his grandson, he wouldn't dare to say anything. After all, that old servant was killed in an instant despite how strong he was. That was someone from the Sky Thunder tribe. Lin Xian didn't care at all. This meant that Lin Xian wasn't afraid of any threat at all. Now that he was sparing him, he was giving him a lot of face. He said, Why aren't you kowtowing and thanking me? Kuang Yiming felt like he had just walked through the gates of hell. He quickly thanked Lin Gongzi for sparing his life. He stood up and retreated to the side. He heaved a sigh of relief. However, The others were nervous because there were many people who wanted to challenge Lin Xian and didn't even put Lin Xian in their eyes. Fei Jiuxiao was also trembling. He had also targeted Lin Xian, but what should he do now? He looked at his grandfather. Quasi-Emperor Flying Fish walked out and cupped his fists. Greetings to Lin Gongzi. Obviously, he wanted to seek Lin Xian's protection. Lin Xian looked at him and said, Flying Feather Tribe, right? I remember telling you before that I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Now you want to seek protection? Kneel down and beg me. Everyone was in an uproar when they heard this. Even Quasi-Emperor Flying Fish's expression changed. Young man, you're too much. I don't believe that without your help, our family can't get through this. He waved his sleeves and turned to leave. Grandpa, wait for me. Fei Jiuxiao hurriedly followed. However, Kuan Yu, who was beside him, did not leave. She stood there in a daze and lowered her head deeply. The current Lin Wudi was terrifying. He was even more terrifying than when he was on Burial Star. He no longer dared to go against the other party. She even hurriedly sent the news to her family, telling them not to offend Lin Wudi. Apart from him, there were a few other quasi-emperors who also wore ugly expressions. Previously, they didn't believe in Lin Xian's strength, so they mocked and ridiculed him. Lin Xian had indeed asked for it. Now, if they wanted to beg him, they could only kneel and kowtow. As quasi-emperors, how could they be willing to lose their dignity? Therefore, all of them snorted coldly and left with dark expressions. Quasi-Emperor Mandela said, Sir, do you want me to persuade them? Lin Xian shook his head. I didn't come here to protect the chosen immortal clan. I'm here for my own business. I'm here to protect you because you've submitted to me. As for the life and death of others, it has nothing to do with me. Indeed, since those people didn't believe in Lin Xian, there was no need for Lin Xian to cooperate with them. Let's talk about the Heavenly Thunder Tribe in detail. Lin Xian asked. The few quasi-emperors at the side quickly gave an introduction, telling Xiao Chun all the information they knew. As for the others, they were still in shock. They knew that the main character today had completely become Lin Xian. Next, these people didn't leave. Although some of the quasi-emperors left in anger, there were still some who went up to Lin Xian to befriend him, because this person was really too strong and too mysterious. Of course, there were also some who shook their heads. No matter how strong he was, he would definitely die if he offended the Heavenly Thunder Tribe. Therefore, they were prepared to watch the show coldly. The people behind the Immortal Seeking Tower also came out. How could they not know about such a big thing that had happened here? However, by the time they arrived, the old servant had already died. As for Lin Xian, they didn't dare to reprimand him. They could only go over and make a toast, then leave in a hurry. They hoped that this kid wouldn't make a move on their floor again. In the evening, these people left the 3rd floor and prepared to return to the 7th floor. They were going to hold a banquet to entertain Lin Xian. When Shui Yunru arrived, her expression was a little strange. She looked at Lin Xian and wanted to say something, but didn't dare to. Lin Xian naturally noticed it too. He said whatever he wanted to say. Shui Yunru then told Chu Feng about the scene that she had heard earlier. It turned out that Shui Yunru had heard a few people talking on the 4th floor of the Ascending Heaven Tower. At that time, these people were talking about the Heavenly Water Patriarch and people from the outer universe. He only heard it for a moment, but he was still doubtful, so he said it. After hearing it, the Heavenly Water Patriarch's expression changed. Were they from the Tsongsong tribe? Shui Yunru nodded. They said that they had captured 2 people from the outer universe, but their real bodies had escaped. They only captured 1 spiritual soul and 2 physical souls. Not good. The Heavenly Water Patriarch's expression changed instantly. He was stunned. He had saved 2 people before. Those 2 people were from the same sect as Lin Xian. Moreover, they were Lin Xian's juniors. But now, he was actually taken away by someone. Lin Xian was furious. Weren't the people the Heavenly Water Patriarch had saved Shangguan Shaoxian and Fu Hongya? These 2 people were injured by the Tsongsong tribe and even captured 1 spiritual soul and 2 physical souls. His expression immediately darkened. A terrifying murderous intent swept through the entire manor. The people around felt their scalps go numb. The murderous intent spread out and swept through the surroundings. The people on the lower floors could feel it too. What a terrifying, murderous intent. Who was it? Was a quasi-emperor angry? Oh heavens! Was there going to be a battle again? The people from the ascending heaven tower also felt it. Their expressions changed instantly. Guillemot immediately rushed over. The previous incident had caught them unprepared. They definitely wouldn't allow a battle to happen now. Otherwise, where would the ascending heaven tower put their face? Where were the rules? The Tsangsong tribe dared to attack the people of Xinming. They would pay a painful price. Lin Xian stood up and walked outside. The quasi-emperors behind him also followed. It's over. The Tsangsong tribe is in trouble. The group rushed to the fourth floor. There were 3 geniuses drinking and chatting on the fourth floor. They were from the Tsangsong tribe. They were also talking about how to torture the little aliens outside. Suddenly, the fourth floor was opened by someone. Who was it? One of the geniuses from the Tsangsong tribe shouted angrily. But in the next moment, he was sent flying by a slap. A figure surrounded by murderous intent walked over like a god of death. Who are you? The other 2 shouted angrily. How dare you attack the Tsangsong tribe? Are you tired of living? Lin Xian sent the 2 of them flying with 2 slaps. The 3 geniuses were powerless in his hands. Damn it! Who are you? The 3 of them screamed. Lin Xian strode over. At this moment, Guillemot appeared. Stop! He shouted angrily. When she arrived, her face was filled with terror. Why was it this Lin Xian again? Lin Xian turned around and glared at him fiercely. Get lost or die. After saying that, he ignored him. Guillemot was stunned. His entire body began to tremble. That glance just now seemed to have made him fall into the 18th level of hell. He didn't dare to speak again. Chapter 56-57. The 3 people from the Pine Tribe were still roaring and asking who Lin Xian was. Lin Xian did not waste any time and searched their souls with his Rinnegan eye. The souls of the 3 people were shattered. Lin Xian's face was cold. Sure enough, they had captured Xiaoxian and Hongya. Then, just you wait, you'll suffer my wrath. He turned around and walked outside. Behind him, the 3 people from the Pine Tribe were instantly turned into ashes. What happened to young master? Kaiser Blood and the others walked over to ask. Lin Xian's face was cold. He said, the Pine Tribe dared to attack my fellow disciples. I will make them pay. After saying that, he unfolded a pair of demon god wings and rushed out instantly. The quasi-emperors behind him were stunned. Then they hurried to follow. However, when they came out, they found that Lin Xian had disappeared. What a fast speed! Quasi-Emperor Frenzied Blade was shocked. The Blood Race also said, let's go and take a look. They are also preparing to go to the Pine Tribe. Lin Xian had found the location of the Pine Tribe from the souls of the 3 geniuses of the Pine Tribe. At this moment, he was flying at full speed. Demon Godwings. He was so fast that he finally saw a strange scene in front of him. It was an ancient tree, an ancient pine tree. It grew on a cliff and shot into the sky, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws like a coiling dragon. There was a mysterious aura in the surroundings. The others did not know. Perhaps they were just amazed. But now, Lin Xian knew that this was the place where the Pine Tribe was. There was another world in the ancient tree. In the next moment, he rushed toward the ancient tree. Sure enough, the surrounding void started to spin rapidly, and space started to fold. Lin Xian snorted coldly. However, at this moment, 2 figures rushed out from the inside. Who are you? How dare you barge into our family? Get out. These 2 people were guardians. When they saw the other party barging in, they immediately walked out. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Those who stop me will die. He waved his hand and a sword light swept across, turning into the only thing between heaven and earth. The bodies of the 2 people in front of him stiffened. Under this sword, they were split into 2 halves. Even in death, they could not believe that this young man's swordsmanship was so terrifying. Lin Xian continued to walk inside. He could feel the presence of an array formation. He struck out with his dragon-shaped sword Qi, continuously attacking. Unstoppable power erupted. The array formation was torn open, and Lin Xian rushed in. Inside was where the Tsangsong clan was located. They raised their heads and looked at the sky. What was going on? The array was destroyed again? Who dares to attack us? Was it another chosen immortal race? He doesn't know the difference between life and death. Let him pay the price. They were preparing to use the formation to kill the enemy. However, at this moment, a black crack appeared in the sky. Not good. The formation has been broken. Who was it? How could he break the array so quickly? It was as if they were facing a great enemy. It couldn't be that several clans had joined forces to attack them, right? However, when they saw a young man walking out of the crack, they were all stunned. A single person dared to behave atrociously in their territory. He didn't know the difference between life and death. Where did he think he was? Kid, who are you? Lin Xian stood in the sky. He looked down, and his rinnegan bloomed. At the same time, he snorted coldly. Xiaoxian, Hongya, where are you? Accompanied by his voice, his soul spread out in all directions. Damn it, how dare you investigate our clan? Kill him. There was an angry shout. Below, a man soared into the sky. His body kept changing and turned into a tree that reached the sky. The pine needles on the tree turned into hidden weapons that pierced through the clouds. Thousands of them shot towards Lin Xian. Die for me. Lin Xian waved his hand and used an immortal technique, unparalleled blazing Sunday. It directly turned into a flame palace that descended from the sky. It charged towards the man. Not good. Feeling the power of the flame, the people of the Tsongsong clan below roared. They wanted to stop it, but it was too late. The middle-aged man who attacked was turned into ashes by the flame palace. Blood mist drifted everywhere. Is he dead? The surrounding people were shocked. This young man was so ruthless. What a terrifying power. He killed an expert in the blink of an eye. Take him down. At this moment, these 4 experts soared into the sky from all directions. Immortal technique, forest of wood. An overwhelming forest rushed out, covering the sky and the earth, enveloping Lin Xian. The forest could trap everything. The ancient trees inside were like demons, charging towards Lin Xian. Go to hell. The 4 experts laughed loudly. No one could come out alive after being enveloped by their heaven forest. Lin Xian's divine flame appeared between his eyebrows. The 9 young divine body shone brightly. He seemed to have turned into a sun war god as he walked forward. Wherever he passed, the heaven forest would shatter. Finally, when he walked out, the heaven forest was also split in half. The 4 people's faces were pale. How could it be? They were shocked. Lin Xian attacked again. The sword chi in his hand turned into 4 sword shadows. The Azura sword technique pierced through the foreheads of the 4 people. The 4 people's eyes were wide open. Were they killed in an instant? Damn it, the battle strength of a quasi-emperor. Below, the people of the Pine Clan also had ugly expressions on their faces when they saw this scene. Who are you? Why did you come to our house and behave atrociously? At this moment, an old man walked out. He was also a quasi-emperor. You captured 2 people from the small universe. They are my fellow disciples. Release them. Lin Xian's voice was incomparably cold. 2 people were captured? The quasi-emperor below frowned, but the others' expressions changed. Someone said, they did capture 2 people from the small universe, but they were only 1 soul and 2 spirits. So that was the case. They were just 2 ants. The quasi-emperor didn't care. So what if they captured such people? What could they do? Lin Xian, who was above, was furious when he heard that. Ants? He rushed down in an instant. The demonic god seal on his right hand was activated. A large black seal was slapped forward. You're courting death. The quasi-emperor of the Pine Clan was furious. For 2 ants, the other party dared to attack him. He also sneered. Heaven seal. He stretched out his hands, and they also transformed into 2 huge seals that swept out. Boom. After an intense collision, the heaven seal shattered, and the quasi-emperor was sent flying. His arms turned into a bloody mist and no longer existed. The people of the Pine Clan were crazy. Even their quasi-emperor was injured? Who was this young man? Was he a demonic god? How dare you say that my fellow disciples are ants? You can't be forgiven. Lin Xian attacked again. He used his shadowless heaven's net movement technique and drifted erratically. The demon emperor's demonic god seal was activated. The demonic god fist was extremely vast. The quasi-emperor of the Pine clan was originally furious, but after 3 punches, he was shattered. He screamed. He quickly fled. With a slap, Lin Xian slapped it to the ground. He spat out a ray of sword qi and nailed the other party in the void. The sharp sword qi made it impossible for the other party to escape. Where is he? The surrounding people were stunned. Their ancestor, a top expert, was now being beaten up. For a moment, they were dumbfounded. Quasi-Emperor Pine Clan was also extremely frightened. He roared crazily. Where are those 2 souls? Hurry up and hand them over. Chapter 56-58. 4 figures walked out of the crowd. These 4 people were the ones who suppressed Shangwan Shaoxian and Fu Hongya previously. They could only kneel on the ground and tremble. The injured quasi-emperor said, "The 4 of you, quickly hand over the soul." The 4 of them almost fainted from fright. One of them braced himself and said, "Ancestor, we can't hand it over." "What? Are you trying to kill me?" The injured quasi-emperor roared crazily. Another person said in a trembling voice, "The 1 soul and 2 fragments were taken away by the patriarch." "What? The patriarch?" Hearing this, the injured quasi-emperor was also stunned. He didn't understand why the patriarch wanted the remnant soul. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He was completely furious. "Where is the patriarch? Speak." The quasi-emperor's scalp went numb. He wanted to resist, but in the next moment, a pair of ruthless eyes shrouded his soul. He felt that his soul was being frantically taken away. "No, I'll speak." At the back of the mountain, Lin Xian led him to the back of the mountain. The other members of the Tsangsong clan also hurriedly followed. At the back of the mountain, that was where the ancestral land of the Tsangsong clan was, and no one was allowed to get close. However, Lin Xian directly descended from the sky, as if he had entered a place where no one could stop him. There were also some guards at the back of the mountain. They roared angrily. "Who are you? How dare you trespass into our ancestral land?" However, they were answered with a sword. It split them apart. It was so terrifying. The people following behind were extremely terrified. They couldn't resist at all. "Is this the place?" Lin Xian asked. The injured quasi-emperor could only nod. At the same time, he secretly sent a voice transmission to their patriarch. Lin Xian walked forward, performed the demon god seal, and blasted it forward. The black seal hit the cave in front of them, making an earth-shattering sound. The entire cave shook violently, and cracks appeared on the array formation. A crazy and angry voice came from inside. "Who is it? How dare you behave so atrociously here?" An old man walked out from inside. He was extremely angry. "No one is allowed to enter this place. Don't his clansmen know that?" However, when he came out, he was stunned. It was actually a young man. He stared at Lin Xian. "Who are you? How dare you come here and behave atrociously?" Lin Xian snorted coldly as he stepped on the injured quasi-emperor's head. With his other hand, he pointed forward and handed over the souls of my 2 fellow disciples. It was Little Uncle Master. A weak voice came from the cave. Lin Xian's face turned gloomy when he heard it. "I will make your Tsangsong clan feel despair." With that, he stomped his foot and directly penetrated the body of the injured quasi-emperor. The body was torn apart. Patriarch Tsangsong's pupils shrank. How bold. Courting death. Someone come. 2 more old ancestors walked over. They were also 2 great quasi-emperors. He did not expect the Tsangsong clan to be so powerful that they actually had 4 quasi-emperors. After they arrived, they all stared at Lin Xian. He actually dared to injure our people. How despicable. Today, he would make him wish he was dead. Clan leader Tsangsong laughed sinisterly. "You're actually from the same sect as them? Fine, I'll suppress you then." He made a move forcefully. The surrounding Tsangsong clan members all sneered. 3 against 1. No matter how strong this kid was, he was no match for them. However, at this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air came from the sky. 6 great quasi-emperors had arrived. Lin Gongzi. After they arrived, they bowed to Lin Xian. The surrounding people were stunned. What's going on? Why did 6 more quasi-emperors come? Moreover, they were on this kid's side. They were incomparably shocked. Lin Xian looked forward and said, "Today, I will make the Tsangsong clan have no more quasi-emperors." When these words came out, the 6 great quasi-emperors were also shocked. This was even more terrifying than destroying the Tsangsong clan. The patriarch of the Tsangsong clan roared angrily. "Kill him." He took the lead and charged forward. "Young master, be careful. He's 6 crown king, Kaiser blood," and the others exclaimed. Lin Xian said, "No worries. I'll leave the remaining 2 to you. I'll deal with this one." An extremely terrifying light appeared in his eyes. So what if he was 6 crown king? Now that he had condensed the immortal chi seed, his strength had greatly increased. He had long wanted to find a real 6 crown king to test his strength. Now, the patriarch of the Tsangsong clan would be his enemy. Lin Xian struck out with the demon god seal. Demonic chi surged from his body, making him look like a peerless demon god. This strike carried an incomparably violent power. The patriarch of the Tsangsong clan roared, "Useless kid. I'll let you know the consequences of offending us." He shot out a sky full of hidden weapons. The pine needles fell like rain, piercing through the 9 heavens. It was enough to shake one's soul. The two collided with a heaven-shaking sound. Lin Xian's blood boiled from the impact. He shouted loudly, "Come on!" The patriarch of the Tsangsong clan was stunned. How was this possible? His opponent could actually contend against him. His opponent was a 4 crown king. Could he fight against 6 crown king? It was too inconceivable. Kaiser blood and the others were also shocked. Why did they feel that Lin Gongzi's strength had increased? Or was it that he had been hiding his strength? They didn't know. The other 2 patriarchs of the Tsangsong clan wanted to help, but they were stopped by the 6 quasi-emperors. "I'm your opponent. Get lost." The 2 patriarchs roared angrily, but the 6 quasi-emperors attacked. A great battle erupted in an instant. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. "6 crown king, I hope you won't disappoint me." He used a peerless theurgy in his right hand and a shocking immortal technique in his left. Demon God Fist. Unparalleled sun splitting. The theurgy and immortal techniques attacked together. The unparalleled aura forced the patriarch of the Tsangsong clan to retreat continuously. The patriarch's pupils constricted. He could feel the power of the immortal technique. But what was the other power? Could it be a divine flame? You actually cultivated immortal chi and divine flame? He was completely dumbfounded. He had never seen anyone so bold. To be able to cultivate 2 powers at the same time. Damn it, he definitely couldn't let this kid live. He transformed into his true form, which was an ancient tree. It was abnormally ancient and incomparably ancient. When he waved it, it was like a divine blade that could shatter heaven and earth. It struck the immortal technique and the theurgy, releasing a shocking power. Lin Xian, on the other hand, attacked boldly. The sword of the immortal technique and the sword of the theurgy swept through the 9 heavens. The ancient tree was struck until it trembled nonstop. Cracks even appeared on its surface. True water sword. 9 young sword. Demonic song. All kinds of peerless techniques appeared one after another. The people behind watched in horror. The people of the Tsangsong clan were about to kneel on the ground. That was their patriarch, 6 crown king, who was so arrogant. Now, he was actually beaten to the point where he couldn't fight back at all. The patriarch was sent flying. Many cracks appeared on his body, and blood dripped down. He was seriously injured. He roared at the sky, his hair disheveled. In the depths of their clan, the ground split open. A spear flew out. Immemorial spear. Die for me. The spear swept out, piercing through Lin Xian. Lin Xian roared angrily. He clasped his hands together, and an immortal technique and theurgy slashed out. An illusory figure surrounded by 2 types of peerless power clashed with the immemorial spear, splitting the heavens and splitting the earth. A sonorous sound rang out. Thousands of black holes appeared in the sky. The entire Tsangsong clan was also split in half. Everyone was sent flying. Even the quasi-emperors who were fighting retreated, their faces full of fear. This sword strike was capable of cleaving any one of them in half. Chapter 56-59. Patriarch Tsongsong fell into a pool of blood. He had been split in half. His body could not heal. Damn it! I can't accept this. Patriarch Tsongsong let out a miserable cry. Lin Xian walked over and stepped on his broken corpse. Then, he lowered his head and said, "Attacking my divine union will result in the destruction of both body and soul." Xiaoqun raised his hands and sent out immortal techniques and magic skills, enveloping the two halves. They instantly turned into a bloody mist and ceased to exist. Patriarch. The two quasi-emperors of the Tsongsong race cried out in alarm. The remaining people knelt on the ground. Lin Xian turned around and ordered the 6 quasi-emperors to kill the remaining 2. "I will make sure that the Tsongsong race no longer has a quasi-emperor." After the 6 quasi-emperors received the order, they quickly killed the remaining 2. The 2 quasi-emperors screamed and tried to escape. However, how could they escape? The fate that awaited them was going to hell. However, Lin Xian turned around and entered the cave. There were 2 feeble remnant souls chained up in the cave. When Lin Xian saw this, he instantly walked over and used sword qi to break the chains. He sent out 2 drops of the divine life spring, enveloping the 2 souls. Then he said, "It's fine now. I'll bring you home." Little martial uncle. Shangguan Shaoxian and Fu Hongye's remnant souls were very excited. They knew that they were safe and fell asleep. Lin Xian carefully put away the 2 remnant souls. Then, he looked around. His expression turned cold. It turned out that Patriarch Tsongsong wanted Hongye's bloodline. Fu Hongye's bloodline was also a kind of spiritual tree of heaven and earth. Furthermore, it could not be found in the deity ground. Hence, Patriarch Tsongsong wanted it. Unfortunately, he met Lin Xian. At this moment, 2 more miserable cries came from outside. It turned out that the 2 quasi-emperors were severely injured and killed. Lin Xian walked out and collected the 3 quasi-emperor storage rings. Then, he looked at the people in front of him. The people of the Tsongsong race were so frightened that they all knelt on the ground. "Please spare us. Young master, please spare our lives." With their 4 boundary emperors dead, they did not dare to resist at all. Lin Xian said coldly as he walked over and killed the 4 young geniuses in front of him. "I'll give you half a day to leave this place. As for whether you can survive or not, that will depend on your luck." The Tsongsong clan's people were in despair. Were they going to leave the clan? However, there were already people who had begun to flee. Staying here meant death anyway. If he left, he might be able to survive. In an instant, the remaining people all fled. Lin Xian did not pay any attention to them. In this era of great strife, these people would not be able to survive without the protection of a quasi-emperor. Even if they left, they would probably be killed by others in an instant. He had killed 4 quasi-emperors. From then on, the Tsongsong clan had completely declined. However, he did not plan to stop here. Instead, he stayed in the Blue Wind clan. He said, "The 6 of you stay outside and protect me. Don't let anyone in. I want to break through." Lin Xian's eyes shone with an extremely cold light. A month later, young Master Tianji arrived. More importantly, he would not allow Higgins' plan to continue. He wanted power, even more power. The current Lin Xian had condensed immortal energy and divine fire seeds. With his current strength as a quadruple crown king, he could kill a quadruple crown king. However, Lin Xian felt that it was not enough. He wanted to break through. He wanted to become a true quasi-emperor. Of course, Lin Xian knew that this breakthrough required too much power. The power needed by the divine fire seed could be provided by the sword world. As for the power needed by the immortal technique seed, it was provided by the celestial land. Lin Xian locked onto the Tsongsong clan. He wanted to use the entire Tsongsong clan's power to help him break through. The 6 quasi-emperors left and stood guard outside, forming a formation. Lin Xian stood in the center of the Tsongsong clan and struck out with the sky-devouring crown. The sky-devouring jar began to form a vortex and devoured the entire Tsongsong clan's power. The Tsongsong clan's treasury, spirit vein, formation, and storage racks were all shattered at this moment. They turned into power and surged into Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian sat down cross-legged and opened the sword world. The power of the divine realm also surged out. At the same time, the divine fire between his brows jumped and immortal chi appeared in his left eye. Lin Xian began to break through with all his might. Boom, boom, boom. Countless cracks appeared in the sky of the Tsangson clan. The earthquake tore apart and spread in all directions. The 6 quasi-emperors guarding outside turned their heads and exclaimed. What was going on? Was the Tsangson clan about to be destroyed? Would the young master's breakthrough cause such a huge phenomenon? The 6 of them were quasi-emperors. When they broke through to the quasi-emperor realm, although it was earth-shattering, it was not so terrifying. How terrifying would it be to break through with all the power of the chosen immortal clan? They did not know. However, they also knew that Lin Xian was not an ordinary person. He was not even an ordinary genius. They had not seen many quadruple crown kings in the celestial land who could challenge the 6th crown king. Therefore, breaking through required a lot of power. Perhaps this could be explained. The immortal chi seed in Lin Xian's body became more and more mysterious. The divine fire kept jumping. Fortunately, the divine realm also began to recover. The Tsangson clan was considered a powerful chosen immortal clan. Otherwise, it would not be enough to support Lin Xian's breakthrough. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. The Tsangson clan was extremely withered and torn apart. After another month, the Tsangson clan was destroyed. However, Lin Xian roared at the sky. An extremely terrifying bolt of lightning appeared in the sky. It was a blood-colored lightning bolt that tore through the 9 heavens. The 6 quasi-emperors were about to fall to the ground. What was that? Heavenly punishment? Heavens, it was the lightning of destruction. Countless people were shocked. It was heavenly punishment again. Lin Xian roared at the sky. You won't let me walk the path of immortality? I'll show you. I want the divine path. I want the immortal path too. Lin Xian split the sky with both hands. He used an immortal technique with his left hand and a divine ability with his right. At the same time, the phantom of the divine realm also appeared and enveloped him. Lin Xian relied on the divine realm to fight against heavenly punishment. Boom, boom. A great battle broke out in an instant. The terrifying blood-colored lightning bolt was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian's body cracked. However, Lin Xian could enter the divine realm at any time to resist. At the same time, his immortal chi seed kept blooming and was being refined. In the divine realm, terrifying flames also flew out and enveloped his body. The lightning tribulation and fire tribulation appeared at the same time. Lin Xian roared at the sky. It was as if he had gone through the 18 levels of hell. If it were any other quasi-emperor, their soul would have been destroyed. Even if I've been tempered 1,000 times, I won't be destroyed. I'm Hun Zhantian. Lin Xian roared at the sky and let out a dragon's roar. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a peerless divine sword that pierced the sky. At the same time, the powerhouses of the other families in the deity ground also saw it. What was that? Red lightning. Some people were shocked. However, the powerhouses in the deity ground felt their scalps go numb. It was heavenly punishment. The lightning of destruction. Did someone trigger heavenly punishment? It was too terrifying. In the Moon Palace, the Moon Immortal stood in the mysterious ocean with Jade Rabbit beside him. At this moment, she was also looking at the sky. Had heavenly punishment appeared? Was it because of that kid? Would he be able to resist it? On the other side, in another secret chamber, the Moon Immortal stood there, surrounded by murderous intent. She also frowned. Someone who shouldn't exist had appeared and came to the deity ground. Was he going to defy the heavens? Interesting. It was getting more and more interesting. Next to her, Shun Jingqiu opened her eyes. She said, "It's about time. I should leave." She stood up. The other powerhouses were also shocked. There were even exclamations coming from the depths of the deity ground. How could there be heavenly punishment? Someone who shouldn't be here dared to come to the deity ground. Kill without mercy. Go and see who it was. A few terrifying powerhouses gave orders. Soon, someone went to the edge of the deity ground to investigate. No matter who it was, those who shouldn't be here would definitely die. Chapter 5660. The Perimetha. The most mysterious place in the immortal path. This place was like the real immortal world. The huge frog roared at the sky. That despicable book of heavenly Tao actually dared to seal us. There was a stalwart middle-aged man at the side. Don't worry, I've already asked the people outside to prepare their forces. It won't be long before we can break the book of heavenly Tao. At that time, we will rule the world and kill all our enemies. Suddenly, a blood-colored light streaked across the sky. The half-frog and the middle-aged man looked up at the sky. They were shocked. Was that heavenly punishment? Who appeared? An ancient taboo? A mysterious legend that existed in myths? They were too shocked. They all looked towards the depths of the Perimetha. There was an ancient sword there that turned into the laws of heaven and earth. That was the legendary heavenly punishment sword. They, the Perimetha, controlled heavenly punishment and commanded the universe. They were the most lofty immortals. The half-frog frowned. That shouldn't be. Those people shouldn't have appeared. Moreover, the heavenly punishment sword didn't change much. Could it be that it wasn't those old undying things? It seemed like it was a newly risen ant. Humph! The heavenly punishment outside was enough to kill him. The two sneered and ignored it. Songsong race. The ground cracked and the sky shattered. Lin Xian walked over from the ruins. He wore a black robe and his face was a little pale. However, his eyes were incomparably bright. At this moment, he had a mysterious and terrifying aura. Young master, you broke through. The 6 quasi-emperors walked over and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's lips curled up in a smile. He sensed it. He waved his hand. Wherever his gaze passed, a monstrous power swept out. The 6 quasi-emperors stiffened. What kind of power was this? Why did it feel like a gaze could kill them instantly? Was it just because he broke through and became a quasi-emperor? How could he be so powerful after becoming a 5-crown king? Why do I feel like I'm facing a 7-crown king? Ordinary 6-crown kings weren't his match. He was too mysterious. The 6 quasi-emperors were shocked. They bowed deeply and congratulated the young master for breaking through. Lin Xian waved his sleeve and 6 balls of light flew over. The 6 quasi-emperors were puzzled. They took it, and in the next moment, their pupils shrank. What was this? Take the little bit of power you condensed during your breakthrough and study it well. Thank you, young master. The 6 of them were very grateful. As expected, there were benefits to following him. They became even more loyal. Lin Xian naturally knew that if he wanted to lead these people, just intimidation wasn't enough. He had to show both kindness and authority. Previously, he had been suppressing these people. Now, it was time to do them a favor. All right, you guys go back first. I'll let you know when I need you. The 6 of them bowed and rose into the air, leaving one after another. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. It was time to make a trip back to the Divine Union. Lin Xian returned to the Divine Union and sent a message to Qingqing and the others. When he returned to the Divine Union, the members of the Divine Union were also cheering. Boss, you're back. Please save Xiao Xian and senior brother Hong Yi. They are extremely anxious. Lin Xian said. Don't worry, I've already brought their remnant souls. Lin Xian walked to the hall and looked at the sleeping Shangwan Xiaoxian and Fu Hongya. With a wave of his sleeve, their remnant souls flew into his body. In the next moment, the 2 of them opened their eyes. We're back? They were at a loss for a moment before they were overjoyed. They knew that it was Lin Xian who had saved them. Rest well. No one will be able to threaten you anymore. Lin Xian gave the 2 of them 2 storage rings. Those were the storage rings of the 2 boundary emperors. Next, Lin Xian asked them about the situation in the Divine Union. At the same time, he waited for Qingqing. Before long, Qingqing, Xueqi, and the Crimson Dragon returned. However, Bai Susu, Toad, and the others had not returned. Yin Ruyu was also outside and had not returned yet. The soul jade tablets of these people were still intact, which meant that their lives were not in danger. They must have had their own fortuitous encounters. Qingqing, this is for you. Lin Xian took out the stone pagoda and gave it to Morong Qingqing. When Morong Qingqing learned about the stone pagoda's effects, he was also overjoyed. Then, Lin Xian took out the Supreme Being Bone and gave it to Xueqi. This was the bone of the nine divine body. When Xueqi felt it, she was stunned. What level had it reached? This was a supreme being bone, which was equivalent to a human sovereign in a forbidden land. Although countless years had passed, the aura on it was already very weak. However, it would still be very useful to you. Xueqi was also overjoyed. With this bone, I can break through and become a boundary emperor. She quickly went into seclusion. Lin Xian gave some of the boundary emperor's storage rings and the resources of the chosen immortal race to the Crimson Dragon and the other people of the Divine Union. The Crimson Dragon also said, "Lad, I found a good place in the deity land. When the time comes, we can go and explore it together." Lin Xian's eyes lit up. The Crimson Dragon was an array expert and could explore the spirit veins underground. Since he said that it was a good place, it must be extremely special. Next, everyone gathered in the Divine Union. At the same time, they took a break. They had been fighting in the deity land for the past few days and couldn't relax. Now that they were back, they were very relaxed. In the deity land, the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court gathered together and asked the Dragon Queen what to do next. The Dragon Queen's expression was ugly. Previously, she had gone to the Moon Palace to join forces with that person, but that person had rejected her. How hateful. Go to the Divine Union and destroy it. The Dragon Queen couldn't cooperate with anyone for the time being. Since that was the case, she would destroy the Divine Union first. Great. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court were overjoyed. They also set off for the Divine Union. Boom, boom. The 7th Dragon General walked out and struck downwards. His dragon spear swept out and pierced through the 9 heavens, shattering the Divine Union's array formation. The sky above the Divine Union was originally clear and boundless. However, thunder and lightning suddenly appeared. The Divine Union shook. Countless people were shocked. Someone was attacking. Lin Xian also soared into the sky. Who was it? The Murong Qingqing, the Crimson Dragon, and the others also came out. Countless dragon race powerhouses stood in the sky. At the front was the 7th Dragon General. He shouted angrily. The Divine Union and Lin Wudi had come to die. Who was it? So it was you, the loser. Lin Xian looked at the 7th Dragon General and smiled. He had fought with him before, and the other party couldn't beat him. He ignored the other party and glanced at him. I heard that your Dragon Queen has been revived. Which one is it? Let her come out. How dare you? The 7th Dragon General roared. Behind him, the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court also roared, shaking the 9 heavens. They moved aside and the Dragon Queen floated out. At this moment, there were still divine crystals on her body that were sealed in ice. It was obvious that she hadn't fully recovered. Even so, the aura she exuded was very terrifying. This was the aura of a boundary emperor. You are Lin Wudi? You are the one who killed my son. The Dragon Queen's eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. Instantly, the entire sky shook violently and countless cracks appeared. How terrifying! The Crimson Dragon and the others exclaimed. The Dragon Queen's strength is so terrifying that even I have goosebumps. Kid, be careful. She might have surpassed the 7th Dragon General. Chapter 56-61. Dragon Prince. He's courting death and tried to kill me time and time again. Moreover, he's too useless. His death isn't worth pitying. Lin Xian said coldly. These words made the Dragon Queen so angry that her entire body trembled. Death isn't worth pitying? I will catch you and make you suffer a fate worse than death. I will torture you for 10,000 years. I will use your head as a sacrifice to my son. The Dragon Queen let out a mournful roar. The 7th Dragon General took a step forward. Kid, I suppressed my realm last time. This time, I will use my true strength. You will definitely die. With that, the dragon's spear in his hand pierced over again, piercing through heaven and earth. A terrifying vortex turned into a wind dragon and swept out. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, the true water sword technique flew out and turned into a galaxy that swept out. It enveloped the spear. At the same time, his right hand played the demonic song. The demonic song bloomed with tens of thousands of rays of light. The terrifying demonic sound split the sky and earth, shattering the 9 heavens. It charged towards the 7th Dragon General. The 7th Dragon General felt the impact of the demonic sound, and his body was about to crack. He roared towards the sky and let out a series of dragon roars. Behind him, many of the people from the 1,000 Dragon Court were killed by this sound and turned into a bloody mist. The Dragon Queen roared angrily. The light emitted from her body blocked this sound. However, a crack appeared on the 7th Dragon General's body. His face darkened. How long has it been since I last saw him? Has he already grown to such an extent? She exclaimed. You've become a quasi-emperor? That's right. I'm already a quasi-emperor. How can you win against me at the same level? Lin Xian said loudly. The people from the 1,000 Dragon Court went crazy. Lin Wuti had become a quasi-emperor? His rate of improvement was too fast. Was it because of the celestial ground? The Dragon Queen's face darkened. She had to admit that although the other party was an enemy, his talent and opportunity were too good. He had become a quasi-emperor now. If she couldn't kill him today, it would be too difficult to kill him in the future. Therefore, she said, 7th Dragon General, come back. I'll do it myself. Yes. The 7th Dragon General cupped his fists respectfully. He retreated to the side and said, Kid, you're dead. With the Dragon Queen, you have no chance of survival. Older brother Xian, be careful. Murong Qingqing flew over and stood shoulder to shoulder with Lin Xian. The desolate tower appeared in her hand. On the other side, Lin Xian's expression was solemn as well. His reincarnation eye, immortal Qi seed, divine flame seed, 9 young divine body, and Demon Emperor's ancient scriptures were all released. The great dragon sword soul also flew out of the heaven-devouring jar. Lin Xian went all out. He said, if you want to fight, I'll accompany you. The moment this power appeared, it shook the heavens and the earth. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were about to kneel down. The members of the Divine Union also exclaimed in surprise. Had their boss become so powerful? The Dragon Queen's pupils shrank. What was going on? To think that the other party actually possessed so many ultimate skills. That was especially true when he sensed that, in addition to the immortal Qi seed, there was also the power of the divine flame seed. This guy wants to walk 2 different paths? Impossible. Is this guy crazy? He even succeeded. Had he successfully become a quasi-emperor? The Dragon Queen was too shocked. Back then, even the Dragon Emperor had not reached this step. He had only cultivated immortal Qi. However, this kid had condensed 2 different powers into one body. She took a deep breath and did not make a move. Her gaze was uncertain as she stared at Lin Xian. Then, she said, all right, good. Good kid. I really underestimated you. I'll let you off today. Let's go. She turned around and left with the members of the 1,000 Dragon Court. The members of the 1,000 Dragon Court were stunned. What was going on? The Dragon Queen did not make a move? Could it be that she could not defeat Lin Wuti? Their hearts were filled with despair. She left? Lin Xian was also stunned. He had not expected that the other party would retreat without a fight. Was the other party afraid? That should not be the case. The Dragon Queen should still have some tricks up her sleeve. He landed back in the Divine Union and said, be careful. I'll leave behind a spatial array. If the Dragon Queen attacks, inform me immediately. Everyone nodded. Murong Qingqing and the others were also puzzled. They had been waiting here for a while but did not see the other party coming back. On the other side, the members of the 1,000 Dragon Court were also shocked. The 7th Dragon General said, Dragon Queen, why don't you kill that kid? If he is allowed to continue growing, he will become a huge threat. You are wrong. I want him to continue growing. I want to see how far he can go. The Dragon Queen's eyes flashed with a cold light. The 7th Dragon General was stunned. The Dragon Queen said, you can sense that besides the immortal Qi seed, he also has a divine flame seed. He can actually fuse these 2 powers. This is what I want. This is also what Brother Tian wants. The faster he grows, the more cultivation experience we can obtain when we capture him. The only thing we have to do now is to find Brother Tian. Once we find him, the 1,000 Dragon Court will have nothing to fear. The seventh dragon general and the others took a deep breath and looked for the dragon emperor. They all clenched their fists. The dragon queen smiled. Although she said that, she knew in her heart that she was still sealed. She was still sealed and not at her full strength. If they really fought, she might not be able to take down the other party. This meant that she had underestimated the other party. He would take revenge, but not now. With a cold snort, he led the people of the Thousand Dragon Court back into the deity land. In the next few days, the people of the Thousand Dragon Court did not appear again. This made the people of the Divine Union heave a sigh of relief. Lin Xian was also surprised. The other party had actually left. This was indeed beyond his expectations. However, he did not mind. No matter what the other party was up to, he would only become stronger in the future. On the other side, Xueqi and the others were about to break through and become boundary emperors. Therefore, the Divine Union would also become stronger. At that time, even if the Dragon Queen fully recovered, so what? Deity Land, Xueyun tribe. A figure came from outside. This person had silver hair and wore silver battle armor. There was lightning flickering between his eyebrows. He was the heaven-grade young master of the Heavenly Thunder tribe. He had actually returned early. This was because he had learned that his subordinate, the old servant, had died. Someone had dared to kill his servant. This was unforgivable. Anyone who was involved would suffer a fate worse than death. In other words, those people from the chosen immortal tribe had dared to resist. In that case, he would not show mercy. His first stop was the Xueyun tribe. Who was it? Stay here. The guards of the Xueyun tribe roared angrily. Young Master Tianji smiled coldly. He stretched out his hand and grabbed 7 guards to his side. With a wave of his hand, these guards turned into a bloody mist. Even in death, the 7 guards could not believe that there would be such an expert attacking them. They wanted to send out a signal, but it was simply too late. The 7 of them turned into a bloody mist and scattered with the wind. Young Master Tianji walked forward and waved his hand, tearing the array in half. Then, he descended on the Xueyun tribe. The next moment, he formed a hand seal and pressed his palm down. Immortal technique, lightning annihilation. Chapter 56-62. Tens of thousands of lightning bolts descended with a destructive aura. The mountain range below shook and the palaces collapsed. Countless terrified voices could be heard. What was going on? Was the world going to be destroyed? The disciples and sages of the True Water tribe rushed out one after another. As soon as they appeared, some were penetrated by lightning and turned into a bloody mist. Screams could be heard one after another. Not good. A strong enemy was attacking. The elders also exclaimed and quickly called for the patriarchs. As soon as they said that, a long howl was heard. The True Water patriarchs and the Sky Water patriarchs roared angrily. They struck out a terrifying law of water that swept through the 9 heavens. Who dares to behave atrociously in our Xueyun tribe? Great, the patriarchs are here. We are saved. The surrounding disciples heaved a sigh of relief. With the appearance of 2 boundary emperors, they would definitely be able to defeat the enemy. It's me. A figure walked out from the shattered lightning in the distance. This person's expression was cold. He said coldly, "You don't even listen to me. Today, I will let you know what regret is." What, it's you? Young Master Tianji. The True Water Patriarch's pupils constricted. The Sky Water Patriarch's expression also changed. The other party had come early. It hadn't even been a month yet. Damn it, they were too careless. The other party must have received some news and came early. Retreat quickly. The 2 patriarchs did not fight head-on. Instead, they quickly retreated. Did the patriarchs escape? The disciples of the Xueyun tribe below were also stunned. Who was this young man in front of them? How could he scare away their patriarchs? How foolish, trying to escape in front of me. Young Master Tianji sneered. He used an immortal technique, Heavenly Thunder Immortal Step. He took a step forward and his speed reached the extreme. In an instant, he caught up. The 2 boundary emperors attacked. The True Water Sword technique, Sky Water art. They could not escape, so they roared and attacked. An earth-shattering sound was heard. It was as if 100,000 seas had appeared in the sky. Young Master Tianji's figure was instantly enveloped by the sea. Was he dead? The people below were looking forward to it. In the sea, a cold voice was heard. It was pitifully weak. Thunder, immortal sword. Heaven and earth pierced through. A thunderbolt turned into an immortal sword, and at the same time, the sword slashed on the Sky-Water Patriarch. The Sky-Water Patriarch was split into two, and she screamed. Immortal technique, rushing thunder palm. Sir Celestial Pole struck out another palm at Patriarch Truewater. The Patriarch was also injured. Thunder God's chains. It was another immortal technique. Two chains appeared behind young Master Tianji, shrouding the two of them and completely sealing them. The two great ancestors were covered in injuries. Their blood dyed the sky red. They had no strength to resist at all. Has the old ancestor paid his respects? When the disciples below saw this scene, they could not believe their eyes. Their ancestor, a bona fide quasi-emperor, did not even have the strength to fight back. This was too inconceivable. Who exactly was this young man? How could he be so terrifying? If you want them to live, tell Lin Wudi to come see me. Young noble Celestial Pole left behind these words and soared into the sky. Lin Gongzi? The people of the True Water Tribe were stunned. Was the enemy here for Lin Xian? Shui Yunru's expression changed. She quickly went to look for Lin Gongzi. Perhaps he was the only one who could save the Sky-Water Tribe. Vampires. A figure descended, and with a single palm strike, he split the blood-fiend barrier that filled the sky. Who was it? The people of the Blood Tribe were all battle-hardened. They were filled with killing intent and instantly came out. Anyone who dared to go against the Blood Tribe would be killed. For figures rushed over as if they were going to kill someone. Tianji sneered and struck out with his palm. It was as if an ancient mountain had crushed the four of them. Next, he swept through the area and killed his way into the depths of the Blood Tribe. After Kaiser Blood rushed out, Yang Tian roared. But when he saw that it was a heaven-ranked young noble, he turned and ran. Especially when he saw that Patriarch Truewater and Patriarch Skywater were also suppressed. He did not dare to fight back. But how could he run away? A thunder sword pierced through his body. Then, a thunder god's chain appeared behind Tianji and shrouded him. Next, the frenzied Blade Tribe and Sky Tyrant Tribe were attacked. The two great ancestors were also suppressed. In an instant, the people of the chosen immortal clan went crazy. Every time Tianji attacked a chosen immortal clan, he would leave a message for Lin Wudi to come see him. Quasi-Emperor Mandela and Quasi-Emperor Xingchun had escaped immediately after receiving the news. Only then did they survive. But their expressions were ugly. If no one could defeat Tianji, the two of them would be suppressed sooner or later, and their ending would be very miserable. It seemed that they could only ask Lin Xian for help. But after searching around, they did not find any trace of Lin Xian. Could it be that he had left? If that was the case, it would be troublesome. Because although the deity ground had descended, only the people of the small universe could enter. They could not leave yet. So, they could only wait. Mandela said. There were only a few days left until the end of the month. Let's wait patiently. Lin Gongzi would definitely come. The Star Quasi-Emperor could only nod. He found a place to hide. Lin Xian did not know about this. He had not expected the other party to come so early. After resting for a while, Lin Xian also prepared to move and enter the deity ground again. After all, he had promised those people that he would help the 6 boundary emperors fight against Tianji. Now, it was about time. After leaving some instructions to the Divine Union, Lin Xian left for the deity ground. When he arrived at the Shuiyun clan, his face turned gloomy. He realized that the Shuiyun clan was in ruins. Many people had died. What had happened? Lin Xian asked in a low voice. It was Lin Gongzi. Lin Gongzi had come. The people of the Shuiyun clan were delighted. Shui Yunru rushed over and said, "Young master, please save our patriarch." He recounted everything that had happened earlier. When he mentioned the godlike existence that had descended from the sky, Lin Xian shuddered. Shui Yunru's body also trembled. Lin Xian also frowned. It seemed that it was the heaven grade that had come out from the depths of the deity ground. The other party had come early and captured 2 boundary emperors. His face turned gloomy. "Don't worry, I will handle this matter. Take your clans and don't go out." Lin Xian continued to leave after he finished speaking. He went to the Blood Tribe, Sky Tyrant Clan, and Frenzied Blade Clan. He realized that these clans had also been attacked. The Patriarch had also been captured. His face turned even colder. It seemed that the few boundary emperors who were related to her had all been injured and suppressed. The other party had left behind a message. He wanted Lin Xian to go and meet the other party. How arrogant! Lin Xian snorted. It was obvious that the other party had come for him. He knew that there were still 2 boundary emperors who had not been suppressed. It seemed that he had to find those 2 first. He let out a long whistle and spread the news of his arrival. In an instant, countless people were shocked. Chapter 56-63. The 4 chosen immortal clans were attacked, and their boundary emperors were injured and suppressed. This news spread like wildfire. Many experts from different clans learned about it. They were shocked and terrified, and they investigated a lot. They found out that it was related to someone called Lin Xian, who was from the outside world. They were extremely surprised. What did this person called Lin Wudi do? How did he cause such a storm? Now, they heard that Lin Wudi was back. Heavens, how dare he come back? Someone exclaimed. If they were him, they would never come back. That was right. They heard that he had offended someone from the depths of the chosen immortals. Such a person was like an immortal, and no mortal could resist him. Some experts snorted. The Flying Feather race and the Rakshasa race also frowned, shook their heads, and sighed. They knew that Lin Xian was dead meat. No one could fight against someone from the depths of the deity ground. Fortunately, they didn't cooperate with him before, or they would be in a terrible state. The remote antiquity families also received the news. People from the remote antiquity families were shocked. Lin Wudi was really arrogant. Would he continue to be so arrogant after coming to the deity ground? Wasn't he afraid that he would be killed? Those from the emperor race also shook their heads. Someone sneered. Lin Wudi was dying. They should quickly develop their strength and add a few more boundary emperors. The longer they stayed in the deity ground, the more they understood how terrifying the power of the deity ground was. Here, even if they were great emperor clans and had emperor weapons, they didn't dare to be too presumptuous. Moreover, it was Lin Wudi. Therefore, they didn't think highly of him. It was Lin Gongzi. He was here. The Star Boundary Emperor and Boundary Emperor Mandela were hiding. They were gathering information every day. Finally, they learned that Lin Xian was here. The 2 of them quickly took action. They met up with Lin Xian first. On the other side, the Flying Feather race's Jiao Shao sneered. He wanted to see how Lin Wudi would die. The Flying Feather race's expression was also very serious. What he was thinking now was, if Lin Wudi was dead, what would happen to their clan next? At this moment, the sky was covered with dark clouds, and lightning fell, penetrating the array formation. Everyone from the Flying Feather race felt their scalps go numb. What happened? These people looked up at the sky. His face was filled with fear. Was someone going to kill him in front of everyone? Quasi-Emperor Flying Fish was even more shocked. At the same time, another 2 Quasi-Emperors walked out from the clan. The 3 of them looked at each other, and the Flying Fish Emperor laughed bitterly. It's over. We've been taking pleasure in Lin Wudi's misfortune. Forget, the most terrifying one is young Master Tianji. 1 month is up. I'm afraid we have to submit. Was there no possibility at all? The other 2 quasi-emperors were unwilling to accept this. The condition for submitting was to hand over half of their clan's resources. How could they be willing to accept that? At this moment, the 9 heavens shattered as a young figure walked over. Endless lightning surrounded his body. He was young Master Tianji. There were 4 chains on his back that danced in the wind like a kite. At the end of each chain was a quasi-emperor. The people of the Flying Fish race were stunned when they saw this scene. In their clan, quasi-emperors were old ancestors. Such a person was actually destroyed by the seal now. When the 3 quasi-emperors of the Flying Fish race saw this, they gasped and immediately changed their minds. Submit. Even if they were given 100 guts, they wouldn't dare to resist. The fate of the 4 quasi-emperors was right in front of them. After greeting young Master Tianji, the flying fish race led the others forward. Fei Jiuxiao and the other young disciples also followed closely behind. They lowered their heads deeply, not daring to look at each other directly. 1 month has passed. Do you choose to submit or die? Young Master Tianji said coldly. At the same time, the 4 chains on his back swayed. The 4 injured quasi-emperors let out miserable cries that made one's scalp tingle. Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu's eyelids twitched wildly. The 3 of them lowered their heads and said, "We are willing to submit. We are willing to give up half of our resources." Very good. Young Master Tianji's lips curled up into a smile. It seemed that his methods had intimidated these people. He said, "From today onwards, you will respect me and listen to my orders." What? The 3 quasi-emperors suddenly raised their heads. Young Master Tianji said, "Why, are you unwilling?" Extremely terrifying killing intent appeared in his eyes. How dare they? The 3 quasi-emperors quickly shook their heads. "Don't worry, if you do well, I won't mistreat you. When the time comes, I will take away a portion of the resources, and you can share the remaining resources of the 4 chosen immortal clans." Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu and the others' eyes lit up when they heard this. They quickly cupped their fists and said, "We will respect you, young master." Very good. Young Master Tianji nodded, then turned and said, "Come, follow me to the Rakshasa clan." When this group of people landed in the Rakshasa clan was dumbfounded. The 2 quasi-emperors of the Rakshasa clan also quickly lowered their heads and submitted. In the blink of an eye, young Master Tianji controlled 2 chosen immortal clans. One could imagine how terrifying the people in the depths of the deity ground were. He sat high in the sky, and a sea of lightning gathered around him to form a throne. In his hand, lightning condensed into a wine cup, and 10,000-year-old wine came out of his storage ring. He swirled the wine cup, looked down, and said, "Go, capture Lin Wudi for me." Quasi-Emperor Fei Yu walked out and said, "Young Master Tianji, it's not that we don't want to, but that Lin Wudi is very strange. He's also very strong, and I'm afraid we might not be able to suppress him. Don't worry, he's just a person from the outside universe. Even if he has some strength, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'll give you the heavenly thunder cauldron. Take it with you, and you'll be able to suppress him." Hearing this, the quasi-emperors below also exclaimed in surprise. The heavenly thunder cauldron. He even brought this thing? It was really unbelievable. This was a supreme treasure of the heavenly thunder clan. This young Master Tianji was indeed terrifying. Young Master Tianji waved his hand, and his glabella split open, and a cauldron condensed from lightning appeared. It flickered in the air, and he cast a few immortal spells and integrated them into it. "All right, you can take this cauldron and leave now. You must complete the mission with the heavenly thunder cauldron," young Master Tianji said. There were countless lightning bolts and demonic beast phantoms engraved on the cauldron, and the lightning made a sound. "Don't worry. Follow me." Endless lightning condensed on the heavenly thunder cauldron, forming a lightning statue. He said coldly, then soared into the sky. Behind him, the 5 quasi-emperors quickly followed. They quickly set off, and their target was Lin Wudi. Since they had already become enemies with Lin Xian, Quasi-Emperor Luosha and the others naturally wouldn't hold back, because they would feel uneasy if Lin Xian didn't die. The Rakshasa Quasi-Emperor said, "Mandela and the Star Quasi-Emperor have both escaped, and I think they must be waiting. They should have met up with Lin Wudi now, and we can definitely find them if we go to these 2 clans." Chapter 56-64. The Flying Fish Quasi-Emperor also mentioned several plans, and they were all very careful. The other 3 quasi-emperors had never seen Lin Wudi before. They frowned and said, "Is there a need to be so cautious when dealing with a young man? He didn't come from the depths of the deity ground, but from the outer universe. How powerful could he be?" The 3 of them were disdainful. "Be careful, he is very strange," the Flying Fish Quasi-Emperor said in a deep voice. The other 2 quasi-emperors said, "We have to see what kind of superpower he has." When they arrived at their destination, they found that he was gone. Was he not here? They went to another clan. They didn't find Lin Wudi either. They frowned tightly. Could it be that this guy was too timid to come? The elephant phantom on the Heaven Thunder Cauldron said, "No matter where he escapes, we can always find him." The next moment, the Heaven Thunder Cauldron shook violently. Countless thunderbolts condensed into millions of lightning beasts. They want to find this person. Lin Xian's portrait appeared in the air. When the lightning beasts saw him, they roared to the sky. They flew in all directions and began to search. On a mountain peak, Lin Xian, Quasi-Emperor Mandela, and the Star City Quasi-Emperor gathered. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes after hearing the news from the two Quasi-Emperors. Since this is the case, there is no time to lose. Let's go find that young Master Tianji and kill him. You should be safe. Lin Xian said it very casually, but Quasi-Emperor Mandela and Quasi-Emperor Mandela's hearts were beating wildly. Could this young man in front of them really compete with young Master Tianji? To be honest, they weren't very confident, but Lin Xian was already their only hope. At this moment, a roar came from afar. The clouds broke open and a lightning snake appeared in the void. This lightning snake was 1,000 meters long, and the lightning on it carried an extremely strong destructive aura. Sensing this power, the Star City Quasi-Emperor's face changed. He said, "Oh no, this is the power of the Heavenly Thunder Clan. A demonic beast of the Heavenly Thunder Clan? He found us. It's over. It won't be long before the heaven-level young master comes." Quasi-Emperor Mandela also took a deep breath. Lin Xian looked up at the sky and narrowed his eyes. "Oh, have you found it?" That was good too. There was no need for him to waste time searching for it. After the lightning snake in the sky arrived, it bared its fangs and brandished its claws. The lightning around it kept exploding, and a destructive aura appeared. The surrounding void continued to shatter. When Razor lowered his head and saw Lin Wudi, he roared to the sky. In the next second, its tail flew over and turned into a peerless spear that pierced through the void. Boom! A single strike swept out, causing the mountain below to shatter continuously, forming a huge crack in the ground. Quasi-Emperor Mandela and the Star Quasi-Emperor also frowned. However, before they could make a move, Lin Xian had already made his move. Lin Xian used his fingers like a sword and slashed forward. Boom! The flaming sword chi flew out like a flaming dragon towards the thunder snake. The two collided, and the thunder snake roared at the sky. Its tail was instantly torn apart by the dragon claw. He was enraged and charged over with the power of thunder. The flaming dragon snorted coldly, roared, and slapped out with its palm. The dragon claw covered the sky and the earth, instantly slapping the thunder snake to the ground. Below, the earth rolled and the thunder snake wailed, but it was instantly pierced through. The phantom of the thunder snake disappeared and turned into a flash of lightning, charging at Lin Xian at an extremely fast speed. Oh no, this is the real heavenly thunder. Lin Gongzi, be careful. The Heavenly Thunder Clan had an extremely extraordinary origin. Legend had it that they were related to the Permitha realm. Legend had it that the ancestor of the Heavenly Thunder Clan was formed by the Heavenly Thunder Tribulation in the Permitha realm. The Permitha realm was in charge of the heavenly punishment and had supreme power. Therefore, the Heavenly Thunder Clan also had a trace of terrifying and destructive Heavenly Thunder Tribulation power. At this moment, when the Heavenly Thunder appeared, even the Quasi-Emperor's hearts pounded wildly. They reminded Lin Xian and asked Lin Xian to quickly retreat. Lin Xian said, "I'm unguarded." He stretched out 2 fingers and slashed forward. With a clang, the Heavenly Thunder was caught by Lin Xian's fingers. Was this the Heavenly Thunder? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He felt a trace of destruction. It was somewhat similar to the aura of the red Heavenly Thunder that he encountered. Sure enough, it was related to the Permitha realm. Lin Xian's face darkened. The 2 Quasi-Emperors behind were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. The other party blocked the Heavenly Thunder with his palm. It was really incredible. Lin Xian's strength was completely beyond their expectations. Perhaps they really had hope. The Heavenly Thunder turned into a snake shadow again. It roared angrily and wanted to escape. But how could he do it? Lin Xian snorted coldly. The power of the great dragon sword spirit emerged and directly destroyed the heavenly thunder. The heavenly thunder broke into countless pieces and turned into dust. At the same time, Lin Xian soared into the sky and roared. Lin Wuti is here. Heaven's pole, come and die. His voice rumbled and spread in all directions. At this moment, the nearby people looked up. Heavens, Lin Wuti. He actually dared to appear. And he dared to do it so blatantly. What did he say? Young Master Heaven's pole, come and die? It's over. No one in the world can save him. When the people in the deity ground saw this scene, they shook their heads frantically. This guy must be crazy. The heavenly thunder beasts that were searching in the sky heard this voice and turned around to attack Lin Xian. In an instant, dark clouds covered the area around Lin Xian, pressing down on the city. It carried with it the power of destruction. The two quasi-emperors also trembled. There were so many heavenly thunders. Could it be that the legendary heavenly thunder cauldron had arrived? They knew that the heavenly thunder clan had an extremely terrifying weapon, the heavenly thunder cauldron. Only the heavenly thunder cauldron could bring so many heavenly thunders. They couldn't even resist young Master Tianji, let alone the heavenly thunder cauldron. The two quasi-emperors' eyes were filled with despair. Lin Xian was incomparably calm. He stood in the void with his hands behind his back. These heavenly thunder beasts were not worthy of his attention at all. He said coldly, "You're here, you trash? Where is Heaven's pole? Does he not dare to come? What a bunch of trash." Roar, roar. The surrounding heavenly thunder beasts roared crazily. They were furious that Lin Xian dared to look down on young Master Tianji. At the same time, an even louder voice came from afar. "How dare you challenge a young Master Tianji? Tear him to pieces." The voice was like thunder roaring, shaking the entire world. After hearing this voice, the surrounding heavenly thunder beasts seemed to have received an order. In an instant, they moved out, blotting out the sky and covering the earth, and all of them charged toward Lin Xian. Oh no! Quasi-Emperor Mandela and the Star Quasi-Emperor also shouted angrily. As if they were facing a formidable enemy, they struck out monstrous laws to resist. This was because this attack had also enveloped them. There were more than 10,000 heavenly thunder beasts. Would Lin Xian be able to withstand it this time? Chapter 56-65. A series of explosions rang out, making one's scalp go numb. Quasi-Emperor Mandala and Xing Chun were also constantly retreating. Their qi and blood were churning, but they were only at the edge of the lightning. They could not take it anymore. Lin Xian was the first to bear the brunt of the attacks. He was dead for sure. The sky thunder cauldron flew over quickly from afar. The giant elephant phantom sneered. The 5 quasi-emperors also snorted. It seemed that they did not need to do anything. The battle could be settled. Suddenly, a violent sound came from afar. A crack appeared in the sea of lightning. Lin Xian used an immortal technique with his left hand and a divine ability with his right. He directly sent tens of thousands of lightning beasts flying. Wherever he passed, he forcefully opened up a path of blood. A mere lightning was nothing much. Another sword slash. Tens of thousands of lightning bolts were destroyed. Lin Xian walked out. Did Tianji not dare to come after sending these lightning beasts? What a disappointment. Lin Xian's voice rang out, making one's scalp go numb. So strong. Quasi-Emperor Mandala and Xing Chun exclaimed. Those in the distance also gasped. How could it be? Tens of thousands of lightning beasts attacked continuously with the power of lightning. Any quasi-emperor would die. The other party was still alive and looked unharmed. Was this Lin Wuti? No wonder he dared to be so arrogant and challenge Tianji. He was indeed extraordinary. The 5 quasi-emperors all frowned heavily. The 3 quasi-emperors who had not seen Lin Xian before sucked in a breath of cold air. The other party was stronger than they had imagined. The 5 of you, go and suppress him for me. Yu Fei finally came over from the sky thunder cauldron in the distance. The giant elephant phantom on it said coldly. The 5 quasi-emperors had no choice but to walk out. You've actually submitted? Quasi-Emperor Mandala gasped when she saw Fei Yu and Luosha quasi-emperor. These two clans had finally submitted to the Heavenly Thunder clan. Quasi-Emperor Feiyu said, "If they did not submit, would they be waiting for death like you?" Quasi-Emperor Luosha said the same thing. "Do you really think this kid can compete with Tianji? He was too far away. You don't understand young noble Tianji's strength." As the five of them spoke, they walked over and surrounded Lin Xian. Mandela and Lin Xian wanted to help, but Lin Xian said, "There's no need. The two of you can just watch from behind." Although Lin Xian was surrounded by 5 quasi-emperors, he was extremely calm. He stared at Feiyu and Luo Sha and shook his head slightly. "I'm really disappointed. I didn't expect the two of you to be so ignorant. Since you've made your choice, I'll send you on your way. How dare you? Courting death." The 5 quasi-emperors were also enraged, especially the 3 new quasi-emperors, who snorted coldly. "You're too arrogant. Do you really not put us in your eyes? I want to see how capable you are." There was another boundary emperor on the Rakshasa boundary emperor's side called Boundary Emperor Yuluo. This was a woman. She used a terrifying immortal technique, and a palm that blotted out the sky and covered the earth slammed over. There was a strong murderous aura on it, and it kept spinning. Immortal technique, spirit extermination. Quasi-Emperor Luo Sha also made his move. He struck out with the Luo Sha demonic blade. The 2 quasi-emperors made a move with great momentum. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He used the demon god fist with his right hand and the true water sword technique with his left. Similarly, he struck out with both palms. An earth-shaking sound rang out, and the 2 quasi-emperors' immortal techniques were shattered. The 2 quasi-emperors were also sent flying, and half of their bodies turned into a bloody mist. "Damn it! Why is he so powerful?" The 2 of them were stunned, especially the Luo Sha quasi-emperor and Feiyu, who were even more shocked. When they first met him, he wasn't so terrifying. How long has it been? Has his strength increased again? He's really weak. Lin Xian waved his hand, and a demonic zither appeared in front of him. This was formed by the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture. He played it gently. Song of the Demon. Overture of the Demon. A sound flew out from his hand, spreading in all directions. The 2 quasi-emperors' expressions changed drastically. They quickly retreated, but they were still hit. In an instant, their bodies were torn apart by this demonic sound, and they screamed as they retreated. "Let's attack together." The 3 quasi-emperors of the flying fish race also narrowed their eyes. They didn't dare to be careless. A pair of terrifying wings appeared on their backs, and they rushed over like angels. Flying immortal palm. Feather sword. Finger of destruction. The 3 of them also struck out with terrifying immortal techniques. Heavenly water art. Lin Xian waved his embroidered robe, and terrifying seawater appeared, forming a huge whirlpool. Using softness to overcome strength, it enveloped the 3 of them. At the same time, his right hand played the song of the demon, Demon Kill. The murderous intent was like 3 sharp swords, splitting the 9 heavens. The 3 quasi-emperors vomited blood and retreated. Their faces were filled with horror. How can he be so strong? Can he fight against so many of us by himself? It's too unbelievable. The 5 of them were injured in the blink of an eye. They're really useless. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. Is there no one who can fight? The heaven thunder cauldron flew over. Useless thing. The 5 quasi-emperors' expressions were ugly, and the heaven thunder cauldron flew out. On top of it, the phantom of a giant elephant appeared, trampling on all directions. The resentment on its body was extremely terrifying. With a furious roar, the lightning on its body rushed over. As its feet pressed down, it was like a heavenly pillar. Although this sentence seemed like an illusion, it was really too terrifying. "Oh no!" Quasi-Emperor Mandela exclaimed again. "I didn't expect the Heaven Thunder Cauldron to come personally. Be careful, this weapon is very terrifying," they warned. Lin Xian's face also darkened. "You want to compete with me in terms of strength?" He snorted coldly and executed the 9-yang divine body. He threw out a punch. The 9-yang divine fist was like a sun, soaring into the sky and colliding with the other party's foot. Immediately, thousands of lightning bolts appeared. The huge figure was directly sent flying, and cracks appeared on the heavenly jewel-like foot. Then, it suddenly burst open, turning into lightning that filled the sky. What? It's repelled. The quasi-emperors of the flying fish race were dumbfounded. They were all crazy. This concrete phantom was so terrifying that they felt a chill down their spines when they brought it with them. This was the heaven thunder cauldron that had personally condensed and formed a destructive power. They couldn't fight against it at all. But now, it was sent flying by Lin Xian's punch. How terrifying was Lin Xian's strength? Could it be that he had really reached the level of young Master Tianji? Impossible. Young Master Tianji was the sixth crown king, and he was an extremely terrifying existence among the six crown kings. This kid's aura was clearly only that of a five-crown king. He was definitely not a match for young Master Tianji. But what's with this punch? Did he use a secret technique? The surrounding people discussed animatedly, not daring to believe it. The huge statue also roared at the sky. Although he was just an illusion, he still felt pain. Damn it! Attack together and kill him. His enormous figure condensed once again. The shattered foot recovered. It stepped into the sky. At the same time, the five quasi-emperors behind moved again. This time, they were going to cooperate with the huge statue to kill Lin Wuti. Lin Xian's face darkened. You dare to come again? Do you really think I don't dare to kill you? Lin Xian was also angered by these five quasi-emperors. Previously, he had only repelled them. However, these people didn't know what was good for them and dared to attack a second time. Since this was the case, there was no need for these people to live. Chapter 56-66. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian did not retreat. Instead, he took the initiative to charge forward. Terrifying sword chi appeared on his body, but it was all split apart by the lightning that approached him. An expert with a sword? When the heavenly thunder colossus saw this scene, it snorted coldly. It seems that you should be a very powerful genius from the outside universe. Unfortunately, you met me. Our heavenly thunder sect is not something that you people from the outside universe can compare to. Therefore, you can only kneel in front of us. The colossus snorted coldly. It swung its trunk and released a terrifying sea of lightning, which turned into lightning laws that covered the sky and earth. The entire sky was completely shattered and turned into a black hole. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The other party was too reckless. There was a cold light flickering in his eyes. 10,000 swords convergence. This was an exceptional ability that he had just obtained. At this moment, he used it. Tens of thousands of sword chi swept out in all directions with him as the center. The surrounding thunderbolts were quickly destroyed. Even the few boundary emperors felt their scalps go numb. Cracks appeared on their bodies. Damn it! What is this thing? It's too terrifying. Boundary Emperor Fei Yu and the others went crazy. They had seen top-notch swordsmen before, but they had never seen one as terrifying as Lin Xian. This was enough to shatter everything. The heavenly thunder colossus's expression also became extremely ugly. Did the other party break his attack again? Moreover, he was a threat to him. Damn it, unforgivable. He roared and ordered the 5 boundary emperors. The 5 boundary emperors had no choice but to attack. In an instant, Boundary Emperor Fei Yu flew to Lin Xian's side. The wings on his back were like heavenly blades that kept flapping. The Rakshasa Boundary Emperor and the others also quickly rushed over. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He raised his right hand, and the demon god seal slammed down on Boundary Emperor Fei Yu's body. Boundary Emperor Fei Yu screamed. He tried his best to dodge, but under this attack, countless cracks appeared on his body. Then, with a loud boom, he shattered into pieces. With just one block, he was severely injured, and his entire body was sent flying. He roared with a face full of horror. When the 4 boundary emperors saw this scene, they were also stunned. This kid was actually so powerful. Boom! Lin Xian used the heavenly water art in his left hand, which turned into a boundless sea and slapped out. The Milky Way descended from the 9 heavens, sending the Rakshasa and quasi-emperors flying. The Rakshasa quasi-emperor's body was pierced through, and he was also severely injured. In just 2 moves, the 2 quasi-emperors were injured, and they had basically lost their combat prowess. The remaining 3 quasi-emperors felt their scalps go numb. At this moment, Lin Xian's body swayed, and the 10,000 ancestral swords rushed out, enveloping the injured Rakshasa and quasi-emperor flying fish. No! The 2 quasi-emperors screamed. They abandoned their bodies and fled with their souls. Save me! They sought help from the heavenly thunder cauldron. The heavenly thunder mammoth roared. How dare you! If Lin Xian killed 2 quasi-emperors in front of him, it would be a slap to his face. He would definitely not allow such a thing to happen. This time, he activated the heavenly thunder cauldron. This was an extremely powerful weapon. At this moment, the lightning on it became even more terrifying, as if it had turned into a heavenly tribulation and rushed out. However, it was still a step too late. Lin Xian's sword chi was extremely terrifying. Together with the 10,000 ancestral swords, he instantly killed the Rakshasa quasi-emperor and quasi-emperor flying fish. Their souls were pierced through and split into pieces. With a scream, the 2 quasi-emperors disappeared into thin air. Are they dead? When Mandela and the others saw this, they gasped. The remaining 3 were stunned. They were so scared that their bodies trembled. At this moment, they retreated frantically. They had no choice. The other party's methods were too terrifying. The 3 of them had never seen Lin Xian before, so they did not care about the various legends about Lin Xian. In their eyes, it was just an exaggeration. How powerful could a young man be? However, after seeing it, they were completely stunned. He was too powerful, and he could basically kill them instantly. How would they dare to fight against such an existence? Therefore, they kept retreating. If it weren't for the heavenly thunder mammoth, they would have escaped long ago. You dare to kill them? The heavenly thunder mammoth also roared crazily. He did not expect to be slapped in the face. He was incomparably furious and let out a thunderous voice that shattered the 9 heavens. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Not only will I kill them, but all my enemies will go to hell. Lin Xian turned his head and stared at the remaining 3 quasi-emperors. The 3 quasi-emperors quickly called for help, and the heavenly thunder mammoth also rushed over. Kid, you are too reckless. Thunder hell. With a roar, the lightning on his body kept spreading, forming a hell that enveloped the surroundings, including Lin Xian. Haha, kid, I am the ruler here. Die for me. He sneered, and the surrounding lightning turned into chains that swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. He rushed forward like a stream of light. 10,000 swords return. The lightning that surrounded him was all sent flying by the sword chi. Lin Xian charged towards Yulua. Yulua quickly retreated, wanting to escape, but he was pierced by Lin Xian's sword. His body was sent flying. Demonic tune, demonic shadow kill. Lin Xian activated his supreme magic, the demonic zither, and shot out a terrifying demonic shadow that rushed out in an instant. It shrouded his opponent. A scream was heard, and another quasi-emperor fell. The***. The heavenly thunder mammoth was furious. It would never allow the other 2 to fall. He quickly rushed over. Although his body was huge, his speed was extremely fast. Everywhere it passed, the entire world cracked. At the same time, it mobilized the power of the entire thunder hell. Be suppressed. Countless elephant phantoms appeared in the thunder hell. Each one of them was like an immemorial mountain that pressed down mercilessly. Tens of thousands of swords, sword chi shocking the clouds. Tens of thousands of sword chi on Lin Xian's body quickly fused, and he slashed forward. The terrifying sword light tore the void open, bringing with it a destructive power that swept through everything. The phantoms of the giant elephants around continued to shatter. Boom. Roar. The heavenly thunder mammoth was also hit, and hundreds of cracks appeared on its body, splitting its body. It let out an angry scream. Lin Xian rushed over again. Demonic god's palm. One of his palms covered the sky and the earth, and the black palm covered the entire thunder hell. Then, it covered the heavenly thunder mammoth and pressed it down hard. With a boom, the thunder hell was shattered. The heavenly thunder mammoth was pressed to the ground, unable to resist at all. Terrifying sword chi appeared in Lin Xian's other hand, and he slashed the other party's body. The heavenly thunder mammoth screamed, and its body turned into endless lightning that fused with the heavenly thunder cauldron. It roared at the sky. It was completely enraged. It lost its body, but it was still able to control the heavenly thunder cauldron. It quickly rushed over. Great! The remaining two quasi-emperors of the Flying Fish clan saw this scene and were overjoyed. The heavenly thunder cauldron was completely used this time. Even 6 Crown King would not be able to escape death. Chapter 56-67. The law of destruction continued to spread, like a peerless divine weapon, sweeping in all directions and charging towards Lin Xian. Go to hell. The heavenly thunder colossus laughed. He could already see that the other party was about to be torn apart. Lin Xian's face also darkened. A super powerful weapon? Competing with him in terms of weapons, the other party was courting death. A black vortex appeared on his body, and the power of extreme Tao emerged. The heaven-devouring jar was thrown out. In the next moment, the two collided. Useless kid, you can't block anything. This heavenly thunder cauldron is the treasure of our heavenly thunder tribe. Go to hell. Crazy laughter rang out. However, he was soon stunned. How is this possible? You're not dead yet. He discovered that the heavenly thunder cauldron collided with the black vortex as if it had entered a quagmire. It did not cause any damage to Lin Xian at all. Impossible. The heavenly thunder colossus roared crazily. Damn it, what's going on? Break. How can a mere black vortex block my heavenly thunder cauldron? Lin Xian sneered. Stupid thing. So what if you're powerful? Can you compare to an extreme Tao weapon? Lin Xian's eyes erupted with cold killing intent. When the heavenly thunder colossus heard this, it was stunned. What? Extreme Tao weapon? That's impossible. How can you have an extreme Tao weapon? You're not from the Emperor race at all. He roared crazily, not believing it at all. However, Lin Xian had already taken out the heaven-devouring jar, and the aura of extreme Tao spread out. The heavenly thunder colossus went crazy. It was really an extreme Tao weapon. He turned around and fled. Damn it, who gave me the information? Didn't they say that this kid was an ant? Who gave him the extreme Tao weapon? Although the heavenly thunder cauldron was terrifying, it was nothing compared to an extreme Tao weapon. Therefore, he quickly fled. Don't you think it's too late to escape now? Lin Xian sneered. He waved the heaven-devouring jar, and a rumbling sound rang out. The black vortex enveloped the other party. As if it was a millstone that destroyed the world, the heavenly thunder let out a violent rumble. The light on it dimmed. The heavenly thunder gigantic elephant cried out miserably. No, spare me. I beg you, spare my life. I was just following orders. At this moment, he became incomparably humble and begged for mercy. I can spare you, but only in the next life. In this life, go to hell. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with killing intent as he clapped his hands. A terrifying black storm emerged from the heaven-devouring jar, directly destroying the other party. With a miserable shriek, the heavenly thunder colossus fell. The entire heavenly thunder cauldron dimmed, as if it would shatter at any moment. Dead. Behind him, the two quasi-emperors of the Flying Feather race were so frightened that they immediately knelt on the ground. Young master, please spare our lives. We are willing to submit. They were really confused. Even such a terrifying weapon like the heavenly lightning cauldron could not do anything to the other party. No matter how they attacked, it would be futile. Therefore, they could only keep kowtowing. Lin Xian circled around the black vortex and walked over. He looked at the other party and said coldly, I once gave you a chance to follow me, but unfortunately, you didn't have a choice. Since you are my enemy, you have to pay the price for your choice. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the black vortex flew out and enveloped the two of them. The two of them screamed crazily, but they could not escape at all. In the blink of an eye, the two of them fell. Only a rain of blood fell between heaven and earth. Some people in the area below also knelt on the ground. They kept worshipping. Behind him, the two quasi-emperors were equally shocked. They quickly walked over and bowed deeply. Young master is mighty. We admire you. The two of them saw hope. With such strength, they could definitely sweep through. No matter how strong that young master Tianji was, he probably did not have an extreme weapon. Come, follow me to kill that heaven-ranked young master. When Lin Xian killed the quasi-emperor earlier, he had already used his Rinnegan to look at the other party's soul. He knew that young master Tianji was in the Rakshasa race. Therefore, he was heading over now. With a wave of his sleeve, Lin Xian put away the storage rings of the 5 fallen quasi-emperors and threw them into the sword world. Those forces split open to provide energy for the world. At the same time, it turned into a stream of light. Lin Xian kept shuttling back and forth. The black vortex on its body did not disappear. There was a lightning cauldron inside that kept bobbing up and down. It was the heavenly thunder cauldron. At this moment, there was an angry roar coming from it. It wanted to escape, but it was suppressed by the heaven-devouring pot. Lin Xian snorted coldly. No matter who it was, this cauldron could forget about going back. He could feel that the heavenly thunder cauldron had an extremely strong soul imprint on it. It was not something that young Master Tianji could have done. It should have been done by a super expert of the heavenly thunder race. However, no matter how strong the soul imprint was, so what? The heaven-devouring pot was an extreme weapon. Although it could not erase the soul now, it could suppress it. Seal Advent for me. Lin Xian roared angrily. He directly sealed the heavenly thunder cauldron. Next, he increased his speed and flew towards the Rakshasa race. The Rakshasa race. Everyone stood there respectfully. Above the 9 heavens was a lightning throne. The person sitting on it was young Master Tianji. Young Master Tianji's expression was incomparably leisurely. He was surrounded by many beautiful women of the Rakshasa race. It seemed that he was not worried about what happened before at all. In his opinion, with such a lineup, it was as easy as flipping his hand to catch an ant in the universe. When he arrived, he would use his methods to make the other party die in despair. The people of the Rakshasa race also sneered because they did not have any doubts either. Young Master Tianji's strength surpassed everything. Only behind young Master Tianji, the 4 quasi-emperors who were sealed by the thunder chains had faces full of despair. Was Lin Gongzi also going to die? They could not believe it. It seemed that no one could challenge young Master Tianji. Suddenly, in the depths of the Rakshasa race, 2 stone tablets shattered. The people of the Rakshasa race were stunned. They turned their heads one after another. In the next moment, they exclaimed, "No!" Those elders rushed over one after another. After seeing the shattered stone tablets, they all went crazy. What was going on? Young Master Tianji also frowned. He was resting well. Who dared to disturb him? This was the Ancestors' Tao tablet, which contained the Ancestors' Supreme Great Tao. The tablet was here. Now that the tablet had shattered, could it be that the ancestor had died? They could not believe it. That was impossible. The 2 ancestors left with the heavenly thunder cauldron. With the heavenly thunder cauldron, who could threaten them? After young Master Tianji learned of this matter, his face also darkened. What was going on? The people of the Rakshasa race had died. Could it be that the other party was too powerful? His face was gloomy. In the next moment, he snorted coldly and summoned the heavenly thunder cauldron. Suddenly, his pupils constricted, and he stood up abruptly. In the surroundings, the beauties of the Rakshasa race were all blasted away and vomited blood. They knelt on the ground in horror. What happened? Who angered the young master? Chapter 56-68. Damn it! He couldn't contact the heavenly thunder colossus. Young Master Tianji frowned. How is this possible? With the heavenly thunder cauldron, the heavenly thunder colossus couldn't have died. What's going on? What happened in the distance? He used an immortal technique to summon the heavenly thunder cauldron, but it didn't come back for a long time. This time, he really couldn't calm down. Did the heavenly thunder cauldron disappear? Impossible. He soared into the sky, and the lightning on his body pierced in all directions. All the Rakshasa people knelt on the ground. They looked desperate. What happened? Could it be that there was a problem in the battlefield ahead and they didn't succeed? How strong is that person from outside the universe? They didn't dare to imagine. Young Master Tianji snorted coldly. I'd like to see what tricks you, Lin Wuti, have to be so difficult to deal with. Heavenly thunder wings appeared on his back, and he was ready to go. Suddenly, there was a sound of something breaking through the air in the distance. A black stream of light tore through the sky, and in the next moment, it stopped above the Rakshasa people. The demonic chi it brought turned into dark clouds and swept in all directions. The whole world darkened. At this moment, it seemed to have turned into a demonic realm. The Rakshasa people looked up at the sky in horror. What's that? It's too scary. Is the fiend god descending? Their bodies kept trembling, and even young Master Tianji frowned. Who are you? Is there a demonic master coming? Are you here to target me? In the demonic realm, there was a loud laugh. You want to kill me, but you don't even know who I am? Lin Wuti, it's you? After hearing this, young Master Tianji's pupils constricted, and he gritted his teeth and shouted. Lin Xian walked out of the demonic chi. Yes, it's me. The lineup you sent is really trash. They can't even block a few of my moves. I know you don't dare to go with your real body because you're afraid of me, but don't worry, I'm here to kill you personally. Lin Xian stared at young Master Tianji, and the corners of his mouth raised into a smile. Everyone's scalp went numb. What's the meaning of this? Are the 5 quasi-emperors all wiped out? Damn it, this is impossible. Those are 5 quasi-emperors. When they worked together, how horrifying was that? Furthermore, there was the Heavenly Thunder Colossus and the Heavenly Thunder Cauldron. With such a lineup, even killing 6 Crown King would not be a problem. But now, they had all died, whereas the other party was still alive. What in the world happened? What kind of powerful trump card did this kid have? Could it be that this brat's strength was really above everything? Young Master Tianji's face turned cold. He didn't believe it. He would have believed it if the man had come from the depths of the celestial land. It was possible. However, the people in the outer universe were definitely not that powerful. You killed the Heavenly Thunder Colossus. Where did the Heavenly Thunder Cauldron go? Young Master Tianji roared crazily. Right now, he had no idea what was going on. To him, this was simply too shocking. Lin Xian sneered. You said I killed that demonic beast with one slap. As for the Heavenly Thunder Cauldron, is that it? He waved his hand, and a black vortex appeared in the sky, suppressing a lightning cauldron. Damn it! You dare to seal the Heavenly Lightning Cauldron? Young Master Tianji was completely stunned. How did the other party do it? Lin Xian waved his hand, and the black vortex disappeared. He smiled at him. Thank you for giving me this treasure. I'll take this Heavenly Thunder Cauldron. You're courting death. Young Master Tianji roared angrily and sent a palm strike over. Lightning flickered in his palm. Rushing Thunder Palm. This was an immortal technique, a peerless immortal technique. He didn't know how Lin Xian had sealed the Heavenly Thunder Cauldron. In his opinion, the other party must have an expert behind him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to seal the Heavenly Thunder Cauldron with his strength alone. However, no matter who the other party was, he was dead for sure this time. Terrifying thunder exploded in the sky. This palm strike turned into a thunder immortal palm that swept out in all directions. The terrifying thunder immortal palm ruthlessly enveloped Lin Xian. Then, it completely exploded, forming a destructive aura. The entire sky was completely shattered. The people of the Rakshasa race looked up at the sky. It was so terrifying. They all retreated to the edge, not daring to get close. Such power was enough to instantly kill an ordinary quasi-emperor. When Kaiser Blood and the others saw Lin Xian arrive, they were stunned. Lin Xian didn't die. Furthermore, he charged over. He must be here to save them. This was really great. They saw hope. However, after this palm strike, they fell into despair again. This was because young Master Tianji was really too strong. They could only shout, "Young Master, run quickly! Young Master, run!" Young Master Tianji was the 6th Crown King. Even among the 6 Crown Kings, he was an extremely strong existence. They definitely couldn't compete with him. However, before they could say anything, Lin Xian was enveloped by this palm strike. The 9 heavens and 10 lands shattered. This made the quasi-emperors of the blood race feel despair. Could it be that Lin Xian was killed by this palm strike? Humph! An ant that couldn't even withstand a single blow. Young Master Tianji's lips curled up. The other party couldn't even block one of his palm strikes. He was only SOSO. Earlier, he was so afraid. Now that he thought about it, it was laughable. He walked forward. Now that the other party was dead, he wanted to take back the Sky Thunder Cauldron. Then, he would kill everyone related to the other party and send them to the 18th level of hell. Is this your attack? What, young Master Tianji? You're only SOSO. You're really disappointing. At this moment, a voice came from the shattered void ahead. Young Master Tianji stopped. How could it be that kid's voice? That kid isn't dead yet? That's impossible. The other party blocked his palm strike. What kind of joke was this? He was the 6 Crown King, while the other party was only the 5 Crown King. The difference between the two of them was enough for him to kill the other party instantly. Just as he was surprised, Lin Xian walked out from the front. He wasn't injured at all. Young Master Tianji shook his head slightly. Bring out your full strength. Otherwise, you're not worthy of being my opponent. Lightning Immortal Fist. Young Master Tianji roared and punched out. The terrifying fist seemed like it was going to tear Lin Xian's body to shreds. Lin Xian sneered. Heavenly Water Art. He formed a seal with his palm and released the illusory water, sweeping everything away. After the Lightning Immortal Fist arrived, it was instantly enveloped and seemed to be unable to move forward. The Heavenly Water Race's immortal technique can't compete with me at all. Heavenly Thunder, young Master Tianji roared. A Heavenly Thunder diagram formed in the sky. Terrifying Heavenly Thunder diagram fell from the sky. No. The people from the Rakshasa clan quickly ran away because this attack had enveloped them as well. Below, the Rakshasa race's spirit veins, mountains, rivers, and palaces were shattered. Some of the powerhouses who didn't manage to escape in time were instantly turned into ashes. This young Master Tianji was a lunatic. He didn't care about anyone at all. Haha, kid. Let's see how you're going to die this time. Young Master Tianji's expression was ferocious. Anyone who dared to go against him would go to hell. The members of the Blood Tribe sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw this. They started to worry for Lin Xian again. Lin Xian looked up at the sky. Heavenly Thunder? Heavenly Thunder? Humph. He waved his hand, and the Tai Chi diagram flew out. It seemed to have turned into a world of yin and yang and rushed into the sky. Chapter 56-69. The yin-yang diagram rose into the air. The yin-yang aura on it turned into a mysterious world, resisting the heavenly lightning. The two collided, and the terrifying lightning was completely blocked by the yin-yang aura. Not a single bolt landed, not to mention injuring Lin Xian. Looking at this scene, Lin Xian's lips curled up in a smile. Can you destroy it? Damn it. He actually has such an ultimate technique. Heaven's Fate's expression was also ugly. In the next instant, the great Tao appeared under his feet. Lightning interwove, and his body suddenly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already behind Lin Xian. Another rushing thunder palm slammed over. This time, it hit Lin Xian's body, and a deafening sound rang out. He hit him. Young Master Tianji was overjoyed. Then, his opponent could die. Endless lightning flashed, and the destructive power made any resistance despair. Lin Xian turned his head and looked at the other party with cold eyes. I've said it before, your strength is only Oso. You won't be able to break my body. This is impossible. Seeing that this attack was ineffective, young Master Tianji was so frightened that he took 3 steps back. He was completely stunned. His rushing thunder palm was an immortal technique, and it hit 6 Crown King, who was at the same level as him. Even 6 Crown King vomited blood and was injured, let alone his opponent. However, his opponent's body actually didn't shatter. What kind of body was this? Lin Xian turned around and said in a low voice, My body is called the 9 Yang Divine Body. Remember it. Now, you can also take a punch. I will let you know the true power of the divine body. Lin Xian clenched his right fist, and the divine flame on it jumped. The divine flame imprint was also activated. He punched out 9 young divine fists. The vast fist turned into a sun and flew out, instantly hitting young Master Tianji's body. Young Master Tianji was sent flying. His body cracked, and his bones shattered. His flesh and blood splattered everywhere. He fell in the Luosha race's territory, smashing countless palaces. A crack appeared on the ground. This is the power of the divine body. You can't do it. Lin Xian retracted his fist and said coldly as he looked down. The people of the Luosha clan were dumbfounded. Their opponent had actually suppressed young Master Tianji. The Blood Clan and the others were also shocked. Although they were also affected by this punch, they were really ecstatic. They saw a glimmer of hope. It turned out that young Master Tianji was not invincible. Lin Xian was completely capable of defeating his opponent. At this moment, 2 rays of light flew past in the distance. They were Datura and Xingchen. Their speed couldn't keep up with Lin Xian's, so they only arrived after the battle started. Just as they arrived, they saw Lin Xian send young noble Tianji flying with a single punch. The 2 quasi-emperors were so scared that they stood there in a daze. Was this Lin Gongzi's strength? The 2 of them were terrified. Even those who had become great emperors back then were only at this level. Off from the ruins below, young Master Tianji rushed out. His broken body quickly healed, but his face became extremely ferocious. She was injured. She was actually injured by a single punch from the other party. He was inferior to the other party? Are you kidding me? I came from the depths of the celestial land. He could single-handedly defeat a group of 10 immortals. How terrifying was his strength! Those quasi-emperors had to lower their heads and kneel in front of him, but now he was injured. I don't believe it. He turned into a stream of light and rushed over in an instant. Immortal technique. Immortal thunder destruction. This time, he struck out with both palms. Terrifying lightning runes appeared on his palms. It was enough to destroy everything. This time, he could definitely break the 9 young divine physique. Lin Xian looked at the incoming attack and his face darkened. Demonic chi emerged from his body. Divine ability, demonic world steel. It was also a peerless divine ability from the illusion demon scripture. Lin Xian raised his hands high and slammed them down. Demonic chi condensed in the sky, forming a black steel that was 10,000 meters tall. It looked like a black steel that was made by a demon god. It fell mercilessly. It collided with the other party. An earth-shattering sound was heard. Young noble Tianji's body was sent flying again. This time, his hands were broken and turned into a bloody mist. Countless cracks appeared on his upper body. He fell to the ground. The Rakshasa clan was torn into pieces. The huge steel stood between heaven and earth, emitting an immortal aura. This attack was terrifying. This time, young noble Tianji's injuries were worse. Blood kept flowing from the corner of his mouth. He was stunned. He lost. Did he lose again? What was going on? His opponent had completely suppressed him. This was unimaginable. I haven't lost yet. He struggled to stand up and said coldly, I still have a trump card. As he spoke, he waved his right hand and the 4 chains behind him danced. He grabbed Patriarch Tianshui and said coldly, Come here and kneel, or I'll kill him. This scene stunned everyone. The Blood Clan and the others were also terrified. Was the other party going to make an example out of them? Mandela and the others in the sky also gasped. Would Lin Xian save them? Patriarch Tianshui was also in despair. Lin Xian had gained such an advantage. He probably wouldn't stop. Patriarch Tianji was likely to die. Brat, these are all your followers. Are you just going to watch them die like this? Are you still willing to follow him? Young noble Tianji seemed to have gone crazy. This attack was very ruthless. Even if Lin Xian didn't stop, he could break the connection between Lin Xian and these boundary emperors. No one would follow Lin Xian. Kid, how are you going to choose? This seemed to be a problem for Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Stupid thing, you're still playing tricks. You don't understand that everything is futile in the face of absolute power. Lin Xian's eyes emitted a terrifying light. 6 paths of reincarnation. Boom. The illusion of 6 worlds appeared and enveloped the celestial pole. His soul was impacted. It was as if a lightning hammer had struck him. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. Soul attack. I was too careless. She didn't expect Lin Xian to use such an attack. This time, he was even more severely injured. Lin Xian waved his hand. His sword technique was like a flying immortal. It directly broke the 4 lightning chains. The yin-yang image in the sky sent down yin-yang information. It enveloped the 4 boundary emperors and brought them to his side. The 4 boundary emperors were still in a daze. Lin Xian said, "Since you've become my followers, only I can decide your life and death. No one else can." Kaiser Blood and the others trembled. They bowed deeply to thank young master for saving their lives. "From now on, we swear to follow young master." Patriarch Tianxue was even more grateful. He had really taken a trip to the gates of hell just now. "All of you, back off. I'll deal with it." Lin Xian waved his hand and asked the 4 boundary emperors to retreat. He then walked forward. Young noble Tianji was in a miserable state. Not only was his body severely injured, but his soul was also injured. Seeing Lin Xian walk over, young noble Tianji's body trembled. However, in the next moment, he suddenly stood up. "I haven't lost yet. Let me show you what true lightning is." A lightning image appeared on his forehead. It was formed by interweaving lightning. There was a faint red color on it. The aura of a lightning tribulation was emitted from it. Chapter 5670. Was there a heavenly tribulation? Quasi-Emperor Mandela, the blood race, and the others were so scared that they knelt on the ground. This aura was really too terrifying. Lin Xian's expression also changed. It was a familiar aura. He snorted coldly, and the power of reincarnation in his eyes erupted, summoning the phantom of the reincarnation sword. A sword chi slashed through the air like the god of reincarnation. Boom. A violent explosion sounded. The reincarnation sword enveloped young Master Tianji. Young Master Tianji's expression was originally ferocious. In his opinion, he should be able to kill his opponent with his strongest trump card. But at this moment, his smile froze. This sword was too fast, so fast that it was unbelievable. His soul was split in half. The faint red lightning on his forehead also slowly disappeared. He fell to the ground on his back. It was over? The surrounding quasi-emperors were crazy. It was unbelievable that Lin Xian could break such a terrifying attack. The people of the Rakshasa race were even crazier. They felt despair. Lin Xian took a step forward and walked forward. He came to young Master Tianji's side. Young Master Tianji's glabella split open, and blood kept gushing out. He spat out a few words with difficulty. "I hate it. I was too careless. I didn't activate the heavenly thunder diagram. If I did, I wouldn't have lost so quickly. You won't be able to live if you kill me. The Heavenly Thunder Tribe has countless experts, and it's not something you can imagine. Brat, be prepared to suffer the wrath of the Heavenly Thunder Tribe." He still had a trump card, which was his family and background. Would young Master Tianji dare to kill him? Lin Xian smiled. "Are you threatening me? Don't worry, I won't kill you, but I will turn you into a puppet. It's a pity for an expert like you to die. You can be used by me." The power of reincarnation in Lin Xian's eyes became even more terrifying. No. At this moment, young Master Tianji was finally terrified. He thought of an outcome that was worse than death. He would be controlled by young Master Tianji. "You can't do this. The Heavenly Thunder Tribe will never let you go." He roared crazily. Of course, it was useless. Lin Xian's eyes summoned the 6 paths of reincarnation and enveloped young Master Tianji. In the next moment, the demonic qi on his body continued to condense. On Lin Xian's body, the palm of a demon god appeared and grabbed his soul. Demon God Curse. The Rinnegan and the magical ability of the devil. These 2 super powerful forces were integrated into the other party's soul. No matter how strong young Master Tianji was, there was no way he could fight back. His soul had been imprinted with a mark. Now, he had become Lin Xian's puppet. A single thought from Lin Xian was enough to annihilate the other party. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian withdrew his devil qi. On the ground, young Master Tianji struggled to get up. He knelt in front of Lin Xian and paid his respects to his master. This scene caused the surrounding quasi-emperors to be horrified. The celestial pole had actually become a puppet. This was too shocking. They were wondering how furious the Heavenly Thunder Clan would be when they learned about this. Would they send countless experts to kill Lin Xian? They wanted to persuade him, but when they saw Lin Xian's confident smile, they didn't say anything. Very well. Lin Xian nodded and waved his hand. Get up. Then, he turned around and said to the boundary emperors around him, I don't want to see the Flying Fish Clan and the Rakshasa Clan anymore. You should know what to do. Yes, we know. Several boundary emperors rose into the air. They went to the Flying Feather Clan. When young Master Tianji received the order, he attacked the Rakshasa Clan crazily. Lin Xian put his hands behind his back and waited quietly. Those Rakshasa Clan people screamed and tried to escape, but it was useless. Young Master Tianji's strength and power made them despair. Their patriarch had chosen the wrong path, so they could only bear the anger. In the end, the Rakshasa Clan was destroyed. At the same time, news came that the Flying Fish Clan was also destroyed. The resources of the two chosen immortal clans were all sealed, waiting for Lin Xian to collect. Lin Xian waved his hand and created a black vortex, taking away all the resources of the two clans. Of course, he left some of them behind. He gave them to the boundary emperors who followed him. Those boundary emperors were also happy. Thank you, Lin Gongzi. Only by combining kindness and power could these people be more submissive. After all, Lin Xian couldn't turn everyone into a puppet. Having young Master Tianji as a puppet was enough. The destruction of the two chosen immortal clans set off a shocking storm that spread in all directions. In an instant, all the clans and sects in the nearby area learned about it. They were shocked. Oh God, did young Master Tianji lose? Did that person from outside the universe win? What was his name? Lin Wudi. Heaven, remember this person's name. He was too strong. Countless people were shocked. Some people were terrified. No, he was unlucky. He killed young Master Tianji, so the Heavenly Thunder Clan would definitely not let him go. No matter how strong young Master Tianji was, he was only a young man. If a true peerless powerhouse appeared, how could that kid from outside the universe resist? Countless exclamations sounded. Some were shocked, some were terrified, and some were sneering. Outside, the people of the clan of the Ancients and the Monarch clans had different expressions after learning about it. Some people were terrified. Lin Wudi was getting stronger. Some people thought that Lin Xian was too arrogant. He was so presumptuous in the deity ground that they were afraid that he would soon die. Lin Xian didn't care. So what if they were from the Heavenly Thunder Clan? His opponent was the Otherworld Heavenly King. He even dared to seal the Otherworld Heavenly King. Why would he care about the Heavenly Thunder Clan? He let young Master Tianji recover his strength in the Rakshasa Clan. At the same time, he also unsealed the Heavenly Thunder Cauldron and gave it to him. It would be a great battle force for him. Besides, Lin Xian felt that it was about time to go to the depths of the deity ground. Although he couldn't enter the depths, he wouldn't stay at the edge of the deity ground. There were no more challenges here. If Lin Xian wanted to continue to break through, he would have to find more powerful forces in the deity ground. While young Master Tianji was recovering his strength, Lin Xian also entered the Sword World. He also cultivated in the Sword World for a while. The Sword World had the power of divine fire, so the divine fire seed between Lin Xian's eyebrows became brighter. It became brighter. Lin Xian ate a new divine fruit. His strength became stronger again. At the same time, the news here was spread to the depths of the deity ground. There was a space in the depths of the path of immortality. Tens of thousands of lightning bolts gathered there. It was like the palace of the thunder god. At this moment, an angry voice came from there. Did Tianji die? Did the Heavenly Thunder Cauldron also disappear outside? Damn it! It was the Heavenly Thunder Clan. At this moment, the people of the Heavenly Thunder Clan were incomparably angry. Who was it? He was so reckless that he dared to make a move against the celestial fate and even succeeded. Impossible. An old man frowned. Tianji had the Heavenly Thunder Cauldron. Even if he met Seven Crown King, he could still leave calmly. Who was it? Did some great Emperor clan use their extreme weapons? Damn it, don't let me know who it is. Otherwise, I'll make him suffer. Chapter 5671. At this moment, an old voice came from one of the great halls of the Sky Thunder tribe. Tianji didn't die? His soul had been suppressed by someone. Save Tianji and bring back the Sky Thunder cauldron. This time, an old man walked out. This old man's aura was extremely terrifying. It was the Seven Crown King. It seemed that the Sky Thunder tribe was going to send out a real peerless expert this time. There would be a storm at the border of the deity ground. Not long after the old man left, a figure came out. Outside the Sky Thunder tribe, a figure walked in. This figure was incomparably majestic. He looked like a god of war. Who are you? The Sky Thunder tribe's guardian rushed out and shouted coldly. Who are you? How dare you come here? The Sky Thunder tribe was extremely terrifying. They belonged to the Perimetha realm. Who dared to challenge them at this time? The god of war said coldly, how dare you work for the Perimetha realm? You want to break the seal? You don't need to exist anymore. As he spoke, he raised his hand and slapped forward. How ridiculous. How dare you threaten us? The guardians in front sneered. However, when the palm came out, they were completely stunned. No, this power. They were terrified and wanted to run away. However, their bodies cracked and turned into blood mist in an instant. They no longer existed. Next, the array formation of the entire mountain gate was broken apart by the endless lightning. The palm was like the palm of a god. Wherever it passed, no one could resist it. Inside the Sky Thunder tribe, the ground cracked, the sky shattered, and the palace collapsed. It was like the end of the world. What happened? The people of the Sky Thunder tribe also flew into the sky. The young disciples were terrified, but the old men were furious. A strong enemy was coming. At the same time, the Sky Thunder tribe's patriarch walked out of the palace in the sky. There were many powerful elders beside him. These people snorted coldly. How dare you come to the Sky Thunder tribe to behave so atrociously? Endless lightning appeared on their bodies, and the sky was filled with a sea of lightning. These people charged out like the god of thunder. However, not long after, the god of war's palm pushed forward. Everything that was enveloped by the palm turned into ashes. It didn't matter if you were a young genius or a peerless expert. Everything turned into ashes. No. What kind of power was this? A Seven Crown King's body split apart, only his head remaining. He released a roar of horror. However, his head was also reduced to ashes. Everyone went crazy. The Heavenly Thunder clan was terrifying. Any random expert would be able to sweep through an entire region. But now, a single person, a single palm, wanted to wipe out more than half of the Sky Thunder tribe. The patriarch of the Heavenly Thunder tribe was no longer calm. Let me do it. A terrifying Heavenly Thunder diagram appeared between his eyebrows, and even a trace of red lightning appeared. The clan leader was also a Seven Crown King, and he was already very terrifying among Seven Crown Kings. He was not far from 8 Crown Kings. At this moment, when he attacked with all his might, it was truly earth-shattering. The Heavenly Thunder scepter appeared in his hand. Beneath his feet was a terrifying sea of lightning, and in the sky was a terrifying lightning diagram. He wanted to use his strongest power to fight against it. The 24 elders around him continued to work together and unleashed all of their powers. Red lightning gathered on each of their foreheads. These lightning bolts combined to form a trace of the power of the heavenly tribulation. Kill these experts. Yang Tian shouted angrily. This power was too strong, far surpassing the previous chosen immortal clans. However, that godlike palm was even more terrifying. It was as though it was an invincible existence. Wherever it passed, the red lightning bolts were also extinguished. The bodies of the 24 elders split apart, turning into a bloody mist. The patriarch of the Heavenly Thunder tribe was trembling. A palm print appeared on his body and pierced through it. He could feel his vitality quickly disappearing. Impossible. They had already gathered the power of the entire tribe and unleashed their strongest attack. They had even summoned the heavenly tribulation. Could it be that they still could not do anything to the other party? Who exactly was this person? How could a palm be so terrifying? In the end, he was only left with a broken soul. He looked up and roared. He was unwilling to accept this. Who exactly are you? Outside the Sky Thunder tribe, the tall man spoke coldly. I am Lin Zhan. All of you are working for Higan. You deserve to die. As his voice landed, the godlike palm completely covered the entire Sky Thunder tribe. The patriarch's soul was also completely destroyed. Under this palm, the entire Sky Thunder tribe was destroyed. Boom, boom, boom. Endless lightning bolts pierced through the sky. The scene attracted the attention of the other clans. In the depths of the deity ground, the Sky Thunder tribe was not the only clan. There were also other clans and sections. The clans and sects were very far away from each other. This was because the area they occupied was too vast. Hence, the commotion could only be seen from a distance by others using arrays. It was the Sky Thunder tribe. What a terrifying energy fluctuation. What was the Sky Thunder bead doing? Could it be that they had found some powerful resources? The people of the other clans were shocked. Lin Zhan looked at the destroyed Sky Thunder tribe and turned to leave. After a long time, the experts of the other clans came to take a look. They came to congratulate the Sky Thunder tribe because it was not only the Sky Thunder tribe that was working for Higan. Some other clans had received orders to gather resources. However, their progress was not fast. They did not expect the Sky Thunder tribe to gather such a powerful force so quickly. These people were envious. They came to congratulate the Sky Thunder tribe and wanted to ask about their experience. However, when they arrived at the Sky Thunder tribe, they were all stunned. What did they see? The majestic Heavenly Thunder clan no longer existed. Instead, it was replaced by a fragmented space. The ground was shattered and the sky was cracked. It was a scene of destruction. There was no one left in the Sky Thunder tribe. They were destroyed. The Sky Thunder tribe was destroyed. These people were terrified. They felt as if they were facing a great enemy. Who could destroy the Sky Thunder tribe in the blink of an eye? Some people were even more terrified. Look at the ground. Is that a palm print? Someone destroyed the Sky Thunder tribe with a palm print. Several peerless experts and super mighty figures went crazy. Did a great emperor make a move? In their opinion, only a great emperor could destroy the Sky Thunder tribe with a single move. Otherwise, who could be so terrifying? Who did the Sky Thunder tribe offend? That was not right. The Sky Thunder tribe was supported by the Higan Heavenly King. Even a great emperor had to be wary of the Higan Heavenly King. Even if a great emperor appeared, he would not dare to make a move on the Sky Thunder tribe. Could it be? They thought of a possibility. Then, they gasped. Were those people outside finally here? Were they from the deity plane? These people were terrified because the only enemy of the Higan Heavenly King was the deity plane. However, wasn't it destroyed in the past? Could it be that these people were making a comeback? Go and investigate. Hurry up and investigate. These super mighty figures and peerless experts left quickly. This news was too shocking. A shocking battle was about to break out. Chapter 5672. The families in the depths of the deity ground were frantically searching for information. One by one, the reports came back. The deity ground had descended, the families of the great emperors had entered, and the ancient figures had also entered. It seemed that the people from the god realm had really come. They were extremely shocked. At the same time, they found out that the Sky Thunder clan had sent a young Master Tianji to the border of the deity ground to collect resources. Young Master Tianji was extremely arrogant, and countless people knew about it. Damn it, the Sky Thunder clan was really crazy. Shouldn't this kind of thing be done secretly? Why did they make such a big fuss? This time, the supreme experts from the god realm knew about it. How could they not be destroyed? Some families said, we're working for the Prometha realm, so we should be very low-key. We can't be targeted by the god realm. Do you hear me? These people became even more careful. At the same time, they used a method to spread the news to the Prometha realm. The Prometha realm. It was really a paradise on earth. A handsome young man was holding an immortal book scroll with a panicked expression on his face. It was not easy to pull. He came to an immortal palace. What's the matter? In the immortal palace, a man with a white face and no beard was sitting cross-legged. He did not open his eyes and asked indifferently. The handsome young man said, "The Sky Thunder clan was destroyed." What? In front of him, the white-faced man suddenly opened his eyes. A powerful immortal technique swept across the land. The handsome young man was so frightened that he knelt on the ground, holding the scroll with both hands. Who did it? He did not know the details. It seemed that someone had destroyed it with a palm strike. It might be the God realm. The specific information was in the scroll. The white-faced man grabbed it. After opening it, his face became gloomier. He continued to investigate the matter. At the same time, he informed the families outside to be careful and to speed up. Yes. The handsome young man quickly turned and left. The white-faced man took a deep breath. He left the immortal palace and flew further away. The entire Permethar realm was incomparably vast. The place he occupied was just the most ordinary one. Although he was an 8-crown king, he was nothing in the Permethar realm, because there was a real great emperor here. When the news reached the ears of the supreme existences, their faces turned gloomy. The angriest one was a half-frog. Its huge body covered the sky and the earth. The people on the Permethar realm were frightened. The green-robed great emperor was angry. "God realm, don't let us catch you. When we get out, we will turn you into ashes." A cold voice resounded throughout the world. At the other side, within the vast mountains, an old man was flying at high speed. Suddenly, he stopped and looked into the distance in bewilderment. The space between his brows split open, and terrifying blood dripped out. He was none other than the 7-crown king sent by the Heavenly Thunder clan. Earlier, he had left in advance and dodged that sure-kill palm strike. At this moment, he looked into the distance and felt a wave of fear. What was going on? He felt as if his family no longer existed. Impossible. His order was to kill Lin Xian, but at this moment, he didn't go. Instead, he returned to his family. He had a bad premonition. He had to find out what had happened to his family. When he arrived, he was completely dumbfounded. The Heavenly Thunder clan had long ceased to exist. In front of him was a wasteland. Where were the people of the Heavenly Thunder clan? Where's the patriarch? Where are the elders? 7-crown king had gone completely mad. It hadn't been long since he left, and his family had been destroyed. What was going on? He roared at the sky as if he had gone mad. Another person had gone mad as well. That was Fei Jiuxiao. When Fei Jiuxiao heard the news of his family's destruction, he was so frightened that he knelt on the ground. His friends beside him were also stunned. What was going on with young Master Fei? Fei Jiuxiao was even more furious. Impossible. You're lying to me. How could my family be destroyed? He had been collecting information. When he found out that the Flying Fish clan had been destroyed by the combined efforts of several quasi-emperors, he was completely dumbfounded. At the same time, the others also found out that the Flying Fish clan had submitted to the Heaven's Fate Young Master. The Heaven's Fate Young Master had already been defeated by Lin Wudi. The Flying Fish clan had chosen the wrong path and was naturally destroyed. It was that brat. When Fei Jiuxiao thought of Lin Xian, he felt a wave of despair. Previously, this person had been disdainful, but now, it seemed that this was the true killing god. Run. He had to run. At the thought of this, Fei Jiuxiao hurriedly fled. The Gu clan, Yi clan, Phoenix clan, and Qilin clan had also received the news. They were also shocked. Lin Wudi seemed to have become even more terrifying. However, the Qilin clan snorted coldly. So what? Now, there were already 4 quasi-emperors in the Qilin clan. Their strength had become even stronger than before. With extreme weapons in hand, they were not weaker than anyone else. Indeed, during this period of time, the great emperor clans had swept across all directions. Moreover, they had an agreement with each other that each of them would choose a direction. Therefore, there were no battles or conflicts between the great emperor clans. This way, their speed of improvement was extremely fast. There were 4 quasi-emperors in the Qilin clan and 3 in the Kuanping clan. The Yi clan and the Phoenix clan also had 3 quasi-emperors. The speed of these emperor clans was extremely fast. There were even quasi-emperors in the clan of the ancients. On the divine union side, at the same time, a terrifying aura could be felt. A figure carrying an endless amount of frost energy rushed into the clouds. Then, endless lightning bolts descended and terrifying flames spread between heaven and earth. The people of the divine union were terrified. What was this? Was someone attacking? No, Fu Hongye exclaimed. Someone was breaking through. Shangguan Shaoxian was also delighted. It was Xueqi. The Crimson Dragon also walked over with a surprised look on his face. Was she about to break through and become a quasi-emperor? That's right. After Xueqi obtained the supreme bone, she went into seclusion to cultivate. That was the supreme bone of a 9-yin body. It contained an extremely mysterious power. Xueqi also cultivated the 9-yin body. Finally, she broke through. It seems like I have to stay here for a while. The Crimson Dragon also wanted to leave. However, after seeing Xueqi break through, he decided to stay here and protect her. He set up a formation to cover everything. He would enter the deity land after Xueqi finished breaking through. In the deity land, the people of the 6 great clans were also extremely nervous. Although they had dodged young Master Tianji's attack, they knew that an even greater fury was coming. That was the Heavenly Thunder clan's true peerless powerhouse. How terrifying would such a person be? They did not dare to imagine. Lin Xian also knew this. He said, "Don't worry. Prepare the resources. When he comes, I will kill him with an extreme weapon." His eyes shone with a sharp radiance. The people of the 6 quasi-emperors were delighted. That's right. Lin Xian still had an extreme weapon. If he used it, they might be able to contend against him. The 6 great clans quickly transferred their resources. However, after waiting for a month, young Master Tianji did not come. What was going on? They sent people to investigate. Finally, they received a piece of shocking news. Chapter 56-73. Lin Gongzi, something bad has happened. The blood race and the others rushed over. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Is the enemy here? His eyes shone with a cold light. Let's fight. He had met all kinds of experts along the way. He was not afraid of the peerless experts in the depths of the deity ground. His battle intent burst out. However, the blood race said, "No, Lin Gongzi, no one is here." Lin Xian was puzzled. Then what is it? Quasi-Emperor Mandala told him a piece of shocking news. The Heavenly Thunder clan was destroyed. Destroyed? Lin Xian was stunned. What does that mean? Quasi-Emperor Mandela said, "Young master, as you understand, the Heavenly Thunder clan no longer exists. They were destroyed. They were destroyed, just like the Rakshasa clan." Lin Xian was completely stunned. No way. According to these quasi-emperors, the Heavenly Thunder clan is extremely terrifying. Even young Master Tianji is so terrifying. The combat power of the entire Heavenly Thunder clan is terrifying. It is said that the Heavenly Thunder clan has more than one 7-crown king. It would be difficult for me to defeat such a terrifying clan, even if I have an extreme weapon. Not to mention destroying such a clan. Who did it? Could it be an enemy of the Heavenly Thunder clan in the depths of the deity ground? In his opinion, such a family should have enemies. Perhaps he was just lucky. I don't know. Kaiser Blood shook his head. We sent people to find out. Under normal circumstances, we didn't have much hope. With our clan's strength, it's impossible for us to enter the depths of the deity ground. But the news of the Heavenly Thunder clan's destruction is too big. The people in the depths of the deity ground spread the news and many clans went crazy. So when this news spread, we also heard that it was destroyed by a palm. But we don't know who it was. Destroyed by a palm. Lin Xian was shocked. Such a terrifying clan was destroyed by a palm. Could it be a great emperor? The depths of the deity ground were really terrifying. Lin Xian was probably unable to enter now. The surrounding quasi-emperors were also shocked. Indeed, in their eyes, The person who destroyed the heavenly Thunder Clan with a single palm strike was probably a true immortal. But no matter who did it, they were incomparably happy because they were finally out of danger. Now that the heavenly Thunder Clan was annihilated, they could rest easy. Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. Indeed, there was no need to fight this battle. However, he still said, send some people to gather as much information as possible. At the same time, he wanted to see if any mysterious people had appeared in this area recently. He guessed that the annihilation of the Heavenly Thunder Clan was definitely something terrifying. It might even have been done by the human sovereign, his father, Sixth Master, or one of these people. These people were all from the outer universe. Therefore, in order to understand the situation, the people in the depths of the deity ground would definitely send people out to investigate. He wanted these clans to pay more attention and gather more information. Don't worry, young master, we will do it right away. The quasi-emperors left. They mobilized the power of their clans and began to gather information. Gradually, the news spread to the periphery of the deity ground. Other than the 6 great clans, the other clans also learned about it. Even the clan of the ancients and the monarch clans in the outer universe learned about it. They were also stunned. Someone destroyed a top clan in the depths of the deity ground with a single palm strike. It was really unbelievable. In an instant, countless people were investigating. They were all guessing who exactly was the person. At the same time, the great emperor clans also took a deep breath. The deity ground was much more terrifying than they had imagined. There were mysterious and unknown existences inside, so they were even more careful. This incident caused a huge storm that swept in all directions. At the same time, there were new changes in the deity ground. Some of the more mysterious places had their seals removed. On this day, in a certain area of the deity ground, there was shocking news. Another terrifying relic had appeared. It turned out that everyone was trying to gather information about the Heavenly Thunder Clan, so they were heading deeper into the deity ground. However, the deity ground was too vast. Finally, when they reached a certain area, some experts were resting here. However, at night, the ground cracked and a crack appeared on the mountain peak. A terrifying soul aura spread out. In an instant, the souls of thousands of experts around were destroyed, turning into blood mist and no longer existed. There were even boundary emperors among them. This news immediately alarmed others, and countless people came over. They found that the crack on the mountain peak was getting bigger and bigger, and the soul power that flowed out from it was getting more and more terrifying. This time, countless experts were alarmed. They were no longer searching for information about the Heavenly Thunder Clan, but about the mysterious mountain peak. More and more experts gathered around. They did not dare to get close and could only wait patiently. Finally, they found that the mountain peak had cracked open and a canyon had appeared. There seemed to be an ancient cave residence inside. The aura that came from the entrance of the cave was extremely terrifying. It even emitted a monstrous emperor's aura that made the surrounding boundary emperors kneel down. Those boundary emperors trembled in fear. They were ecstatic. This was the aura of a great emperor. This was a great emperor's tomb. A great emperor's tomb had appeared. This news instantly spread and swept through everything. After the chosen immortal clan received the news, they were also in an uproar. They were extremely excited. Exploring a great emperor's tomb was definitely a heaven-defying fortune. The remote antiquity family and great emperor family of the universe were also happy. They knew that their opportunity had come, especially those great emperor family. Their eyes were shining with a sharp light. They could obtain great fortune from a new great emperor's tomb. It might even increase the number of boundary emperors in their family again. The people of the 6 great families also received the news and immediately sent back. The 6 boundary emperors were shocked. They immediately went to look for Lin Xian. When they found Lin Xian, the 6 boundary emperors told him the news. Lin Xian was stunned when he heard that. The tomb of a great emperor was indeed a piece of surprising news. Lin Xian had entered the Dragon Emperor's tomb before. He had obtained a lot of good things from it. Lin Fan wondered which great emperor's tomb this time belonged to. He was looking forward to it. To be able to be buried in the deity ground, It should be a great emperor of the deity ground. However, he frowned slightly. Why was it outside? Shouldn't it be in the depths of the deity ground? At this time, Boundary Emperor Mandala said, "Young master might not know. The entire deity ground was incomparably mysterious. Someone had once dug out a ruin and a few ancient coffins at the edge of the deity ground. After opening it, there were actually 3 terrifying 8-crown kings sweeping through the area. It was even said that someone had dug out the relics of great emperors at the edge of the deity ground. Therefore, there were mysterious places everywhere in the deity ground. However, the living existences were usually in the depths of the deity ground. It was really mysterious." Lin Xian was surprised when he heard this. At the same time, he was also looking forward to it. If the sword world in his body were to be dug out, would something mysterious appear? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Because when he was in the sword world, he either absorbed the power of the sword world or consumed the spirit fruits that grew in the sword world. He had never thought that there would be something buried under the ground of the sword world. This gave her a new train of thought. When he had the chance, he really had to go in and take a look. Chapter 56-74. Next, Lin Xian and the others prepared to head to the great emperor's tomb to investigate. The preparation was left to the 6 great clans. Lin Xian began to enter the sword world to investigate, to see if there was anything mysterious buried under the ground of the sword world. Soon, he was surprised. He realized that this world was really too hard. Even if he wanted to dig a hole here, it would not be easy. However, he would not give up so easily. About 5 days later, the blood ancestor came. He said, Lin Gongzi had almost finished his investigation. The place where the great emperor's tomb appeared was in the immortal soul realm, which was quite a distance away from the edge of the immortal ground. Therefore, those people were prepared to take the immortal spirit boat. The immortal ground was very vast. Other than the core area, the other areas were divided into many regions. The area where Lin Xian was now was considered the edge of the immortal ground. If he went further in, it would be the immortal soul realm. All right, you arrange it. Lin Xian walked out of the teaching world and said in a deep voice, Blood Kaiser said that we want to go up to the younger generation to accompany young master. You go first, we will follow behind. No problem. Lin Xian naturally knew what these quasi-emperors were thinking. These quasi-emperors wanted their juniors to follow by their side. They might be able to make a meteoric rise. Lin Xian did not refuse. About a day later, a few young people came. Lin Xian knew some of them. For example, Bloodsword, Kuang Yiming, young master Xinli, and the others. Shui Yunru also came. There were also some that Lin Xian did not know. One was called Xinghai, and the other was called Ziyun. They were the descendants of Star Quasi-Emperor and Mandela Quasi-Emperor. The few of them bowed respectfully to Lin Xian. They were incomparably excited. To be able to follow by Lin Xian's side was a blessing that they had cultivated for several lifetimes. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and led everyone away. Of course, this time, it was only one of his law avatars. His true body was still digging a hole in the sword world. This time, there was no need for Lin Xian's true body to appear. The group of people got on the immortal spirit boat and set off. The immortal spirit boat was very vast. Other than Lin Xian and the others, there were many people. Obviously, the families and sects at the edge of the immortal ground. Even the people from the outside universe wanted to explore. Moreover, this was only the first immortal spirit ship. Other than that, there would probably be many more spirit ships and immortal spirit chariots that would follow. The interior of the immortal spirit boat was also incomparably spacious. Given the status of Lin Xian and the others, they naturally asked for a superior room. There were many bedrooms, a cultivation areas, and a restaurant. A place. If you have any needs, you will be the immortal's ground. Ziyun and the others were still very nervous. Shui Yunru, on the other hand, was very calm. This was not the first time she had been by Lin Xian's side. After Lin Xian gave a few instructions, these people began to do their own things. During this time, Ziyun and Shui Yunru went to the restaurant to get some food and spirit wine for Lin Xian. A few people saw the whole process. They were shocked. What a beautiful woman. Shui Yunru and Ziyun were both very beautiful. Even among these geniuses, they could be seen at a glance. Of course, some people knew the identity of Shui Yunru and the others and did not dare to be presumptuous. However, there were still a few people hiding in the darkness with sneers on their faces. They secretly formed seals with their palms and took out a black bell. They began to transmit the seal. Senior brother, there are a lot of fat sheep in this spirit boat. There are also a few beautiful fairies. You must stop them. In 3 days, we should reach the Broken Soul Cliff. After the transmission, the black-robed man put away the bell, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. The next 2 days passed peacefully, but on the 3rd day, Yi Zichen was shocked. On the 3rd day, the helmsman of the immortal spirit boat walked out and said, "Everyone, be careful. The Broken Soul Cliff is in front of us. It is extremely dangerous. Even the immortal spirit boat will probably shake a little. Don't panic." The Broken Soul Cliff. Lin Xian's clone opened his eyes and asked, "Where is this place?" Ziyun walked over and said, "I heard from the old ancestor that the Broken Soul Cliff is very terrifying. Back then, a peerless expert fought here and his soul was destroyed. This place has formed a terrifying terrain that can destroy the soul of a person. It has an extremely strong murderous intent. Although tens of thousands of years have passed, it is still a very dangerous place." Lin Xian nodded, but he didn't mind. He had entered the tomb of a great emperor, so he did not care about the Broken Soul Cliff. However, he did not know that in another room, a few black-robed men were sneering. Extremely terrifying murderous intent bloomed in their eyes. There was chaos in front of them. There was an extremely strong murderous aura between heaven and earth that swept across heaven and earth. Entering this place would probably cause a violent impact. There were countless mountains around, but there was a place where there was a cliff that seemed to have been cut off by a sword. This was the Broken Soul Cliff. At this moment, a group of people appeared around the Broken Soul Cliff. These people were wearing blood-red robes, and the murderous intent in their eyes was extremely terrifying. The leader was a man with a pair of blood-red eyes. Even his hair was red. It seemed to be weaved by a river of blood. His name was Xueming. There were many experts around him. These people had cold expressions. Suddenly, the man with the 3 blood-red runes on his face next to him spoke. "It's here." Xueming waved his hand and set up an array. The surrounding people dispersed and stood on different mountain peaks. At the same time, a terrifying sea of blood rushed out from their bodies. Each of them had a blood-red flag in their hands that suppressed heaven and earth. The terrifying blood aura shot into the sky and formed a blood-red shark in the sky. It swept across tens of thousands of miles, opened its bloody mouth, and directly let out a terrifying roar. It shook heaven and earth. The immortal spirit boat was also violently shaken by this impact. Above it, countless formations appeared, flickering and flickering. The people in the immortal spirit boat also shook and countless people opened their eyes. What happened? The helmsman frowned and said loudly, "Everyone, don't panic. Someone is attacking us. But it's okay. With the immortal spirit boat's defense, we can rush over." Hearing this, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. They had already known that they would pass by the Broken Soul Cliff this time, so they took the immortal spirit boat. According to their understanding, there was no need to worry this time. However, at this moment, 3 black-robed men in the immortal spirit state sneered. They came near the immortal spirit boat's defensive array. They struck out a terrifying law. A rumbling sound rang out, and the immortal spirit boat exploded with a deafening sound. The helmsman's expression changed. Not good. Someone was destroying the array from inside. The situation was dangerous. Sure enough, before long, cracks appeared on the immortal spirit boat's array. The group of people wearing blood-red robes outside seized the opportunity. The array was activated again, and a monstrous blood-red shark swallowed the immortal spirit boat. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.